Betting reaction to all of the night's action. You're tuned in to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Patrick Meagher, Dustin Swedelson, VSiN Live.
Okay, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. The playoffs continue as we say hi. 888 Mad Dog 6, 888-623-3646 on a Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. Nia Hardman, New York City. Ryan Smith, Isaiah Wrinkle, Las Vegas. On YouTube.com/VSiN Live. Get us a sub. Dustin Swedelson hanging out at the SiriusXM studios at the Win. And I'm Patrick Meagher as we welcome you in. A lot to do. Samich is going to join. Turpin's going to join. Turpin writes for WEEI. He's a Celtics beat reporter. Obviously, a lot of the conversation circling Jason Tatum. As far as I don't know. Dustin, you can correct me. I haven't heard the final word, but Twitter tells me he popped his Achilles. Yes?
Yeah, no, he did. They were very secretive, very weird about it. They didn't announce it until about an hour ago that he underwent successful surgery to repair a ruptured right Achilles tendon. So it's officially that. But for whatever reason, they must have known last night, and they waited until he actually had the surgery to put the information out there. But that is what came out about an hour ago.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. It sucks for Tatum. I guess it sucks for Celtics fans, obviously, and obviously it sucks for Tatum. And it also overshadows the fact that the Knicks were going to beat their ass anyway. I don't care if Tatum was playing, and I'm not even trying to be callous. That is not being callous. The Knicks are better than the Celtics right now. So we can mourn the injury to Tatum. He's going to be all right in the future. He's probably going to miss all of next year. He's a 27-year-old man. You wish for the best emotionally for the guy, but that doesn't take away from the fact that the Knicks were down 14, the Knicks were down 20 in game 1, the Knicks were down 20 in game 2, and the Celtics lack mettle this year. There's no other way to put it. You give them props for the championship last year. Jaylen Brown is just a guy, has a hard time dribbling. Obviously, Porzingis, whatever he's dealing with the virus or whatever, is just a shell of himself. Their offensive sets get sticky. One thing I will say about Tatum was not having a good game. Tatum was having a great game, and he was having a great game, 42 points offensively, a couple weird threes, but defensively he was awesome, so he was dialed in. So you hate to see it for the kid. You hate to see it for the man, but that does not take away from the fact that the best player in the series has obviously been Jalen Brunson. Anybody late to the Jalen Brunson party has just been sleeping, man. He's a different type of player, and their lineup, which has been maligned, was built perfectly to beat the Celtics team. When you can throw Anunoby on the wing as far as defense, obviously Bridges has turned into a very valuable player. Karl Anthony Towns has been crashing the boards. Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson back. This is a team right now that is better than the Celtics. And don't ask me, ask the numbers. They're up 3-1 in the series. So anybody dicking around and telling me, oh, they haven't played well in the series, I don't know what to tell you. It was Bill Parcells that said, you are what you record, or whatever the hell he said, that donk. He basically said, you are what your record says you are, and 3-1 feels like the better team. So while we can mourn the Tatum injury, we should also congratulate, because I know the first thing that was asked of Jalen Brunson after the game is like, what do you think of Jason Tatum? Brunson literally was like, what do you want me to say? It's nothing to do with me. We're competing against this team. It's so awkward. I didn't love that. Before we get more into that, let's set up this game because you still have a couple of minutes to bet it. We've got game 5 in Cleveland tonight. Mitchell is going to play. Donovan Mitchell is going to play. The number is crazy. You're almost 3-1 getting on the Indiana Pacers. You have to bet the Pacers. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, the number is so crazy. 8.5 is the spread. I feel like we're being tricked. I feel like the books know something about the health of all these Cavaliers that we don't know, because to me, it's so obvious. Indiana's been the better team. They're the better offense right now. They've been awesome on defense since the All-Star break. They've dominated a few games in this series. The only edge you have is Cleveland coming back home, and they're going to be fired up to keep this series going, so they'll use whatever energy they have to make sure they live to fight another day. That's the one reason I think about Cleveland, but I can't lay that number. You have to take it with Indiana. It is a massive number.
Yeah, this is important. 8.5 on the number, as Dustin said. This is important for new bettors to understand. You're thinking like, well, what does Vegas know? Vegas doesn't know anything. This is the market. This number is driven by the market. People simply believe Cleveland, a la in Game 3, when they went to Indiana, pulled themselves together and boat raced them by 20+. You are betting into expectations.
Yes.
It's not like literally who does Vegas think's going to win. They don't care who's going to win. They care taking your vigorish, your tax. They don't care. They care what you think is going to happen. So they set a number, and then you drive it up, you drive it down, and people just expect Cleveland to blow them out tonight. That's the expectation.
And the number they have set all year long has been disrespecting the Pacers. Maybe there's a chance that the bookmakers don't realize how good Indiana actually is, and that's the issue at hand here and why that number is so big.
No, it's not the bookmakers. That's my point, though, big guy.
Oh, the market. You're saying the market.
It's the market. It's
to convince
the bookmakers are going to throw up a
sides.
number, and if the market says your number of 8, what'd this open at?
I thought I saw 8.
Okay, the market would then say, hey, Chris Andrews at the South Point, you're wild. We love Indiana. And then all of a sudden now we're closing at 3.5. That's just, the bookmakers can give an idea of what they think the number is, but ultimately the market's going to dictate. I agree with you. I think that Indiana obviously has been underrated. Look, you go back to yesterday's number. We said if you're getting close to 2-1 on the Knicks, you'd be insane not to bet it. And the Knicks, with Tatum or without Tatum, we're going to end up winning by doubles.
Yeah,
or they didn't win by doubles, but you understand what I'm saying. 7.
Yeah, no. They won. That's all that matters. They won outright as big dogs.
They were catching 5.5.
It was a perfect spot. And for the Knicks, the Knicks with the fourth quarter comebacks, that's everything we've been criticizing about Jason Tatum. In this game, I don't know what Indiana looks like in the fourth quarter, or Cleveland looks like in the fourth quarter, because they've melted down in this series where Indiana has stepped up. That's why I think 8.5 is too much, right? Because in the fourth quarter, these possessions get tighter, these rotations get tighter, and the team that can get buckets when they need to in the end is Indiana in this one. That's why I think that number's too big in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the 8.5's nothing to me. Plus 280, plus 285. It's a gift.
Why not?
It's a gift. Indiana has been the better basketball team. And if you're saying, now listen, we're obviously just playing the numbers. So if you're saying Indiana's been the better basketball team, if I told you $100 can win you close to 300, don't you think you'd take a shot? That's what you do.
And you only have to be right a couple times, and you're up.
Yeah, I mean, the expectations are Cleveland's going to blow them out tonight. That's what the market says. We shall see. Again, just circling back on Tatum, I hope my message isn't misconstrued as being negative. I feel horrible for the kid or for the man. He's 27 years old. He's at the peak of his prime. He's a great basketball player. Is he one of the best? I guess you could argue that, but he's a great basketball player. But I just think so much of the conversation about people acting fake sad, it's like people only care about themselves. Nobody's really concerned about a 27-year-old good-looking millionaire that just popped his Achilles. Yeah, you think about it, you go, that's a bummer, but then you move on. What am I speaking? I'm speaking the truth. And the problem that I have with it is people just like, oh, it overshadows what the Knicks are doing. The Knicks were built to beat this team, and they're beating this team.
And they're beating when it matters. Both things can be true. Can feel bad for Jason Tatum, and also all the questions we had about him being a closer, doing what he needs to do in critical moments for the team, those questions can also exist, right? Like, he's still not the face of the league. Like, that's been the conversation. Who's the next face of the league? We thought Anthony Edwards. Jason Tatum's not the face of the league. He's also not apparently the next right foot of the league either, because the right foot's going to be banged up for a little bit here after the surgery. But the question is what happens next for the Celtics, because everyone's putting out the numbers, dude, about how without him in the lineup, they're 9-2 this year. And look, they beat a couple good teams. They also beat up on a lot of bad teams. When you want context, it's Detroit and Orlando, the good ones, then Portland, Utah, Brooklyn,
people
Phoenix.
think they can beat the Knicks without Tatum?
And they're trying to. Celtics fans are trying to convince themselves of this. But the point is, it has nothing to do with talent. There is talent on the Celtics roster. But talent isn't the reason why they can't beat the Knicks. The reason they can't beat the Knicks is the reason why they're down 3-1 in the series, is because when it matters the most, that roster shrinks. Tatum was the one guy they thought they could trust late in games, and there's tons of questions about him closing. There's no chance Boston has any shot, and they're favored tomorrow.
All right. Well, then I'll bet the Knicks. The Knicks are minus 550 on the series. It's not that complicated. I mean, The Celtics are plus 415, so obviously the market believes the Knicks are going to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think a lot of it was just, look, you get wrapped up in the emotion. Like, for example, let's play a couple of these clips from Jaylen Brown. The first one we're going to start with, Nia, is Jaylen Brown number 1. And then the third question is one of the weirder questions. I'll tease you with it. It's one of the odder questions I've ever read, and I'll be curious if the reporter actually asked it that way. But let's start here, Nia, with what's the mood in the locker room?
Wasn't a lot to say. Obviously, JT, everybody's concerned with him. But tonight, defensively, our defense let us down. Just no resistance.
Yeah, you felt bad. I mean, he was obviously in a ton of pain. He had the Paul Pierce situation where he was going off in the what do you call that?
Wheelchair?
Yeah. He felt awful for him emotionally at that point because obviously Tatum knew that he had strained his Achilles. I'll ask you this: 888 Mad Dog 6, 888-623-3646. Tatum stays healthy. You think the Celtics were going to come back and win that series? Now, they are down 3-1. Nia, Brown number 2, down 3-1. Now what for the Celtics?
We take the night and get back up tomorrow. Tomorrow's a new day, and we go from there.
That's what I've said that so many times when I had too many drinks.
Tomorrow's
That's
a
a funny
day.
thing about sports quotes is you can equate them to anything. Like I had one extra tequila. Listen, I'm going to take this night. I'm going to wake up tomorrow. Tomorrow's another day. That was a bad idea.
Get an ID, have an IV, start fresh tomorrow, new day, new me. Look, for Brown, isn't this like a big opportunity for him? There's been a lot of questions about what he is. I mean, he's probably a 3. He's on this team as a 2 because they have depth. But if he wants to prove he's more than just a sidekick, this is his opportunity to carry this team.
I know he's not a point guard. Have you seen him dribble?
Well, can you call it dribbling?
Well, let me ask you this. Who would you rather have, Derek White or Jaylen Brown?
I'll ask you this because I think I know the answer. Who would you rather have, Josh Hart or Jaylen Brown?
If I'm building a team, taking Hart. But Derek White's the second best player on that team. I know people get all pissed. Don't come at me, Smith.
No, I think that's the question because the recovery for Tatum, it just doesn't impact this year. It impacts next year. The timing of this is brutal. You look at guys who've had Achilles injuries recently. Durant, the most recent one, he missed 18 months. Klay Thompson missed 14 months. Kobe somehow only missed 8 months. And then Dominique Wilkins back in the day missed 10 months. So we're looking about a year, if not more, for Tatum. And who knows what he looks like when he actually returns, at least in that first year. And this team wants to get under the threshold with the luxury tax. How many of these guys are they keeping? Is everyone available? Is Derek White maybe got one guy they keep? Is Brown a guy they keep? I mean, this impacts the Celtics, not just this postseason, but the next 3 years, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, first off, Tatum's 27. I think as far as prognosis, you would think somebody in their prime could come back and be the same 95%, 90% of the same. So you hope that for Jason Tatum. Let's just say that. There's new ownership with the Celtics. There were questions about what was going to happen with the future of this team moving forward. I believe Porzingis is expiring.
Yep.
If you are going to make moves, the time to trade Derek White is now.
Yeah.
His value has never been higher. Drew Holiday has 3 years left on a deal, and he old. So it's an interesting team. They still have a ton of talent. Peyton Pritchard's a great player, a very good player. Hauser's been hurt, but they have talent. Horford's 38, 39, so there are decisions to be made for the Celtics, no doubt.
Yeah, and they're always a destination. They're a historic team. Players want to play there. Derek White's 30. And he's going to be 31 coming up in about 2 months. So you're looking at a guy 30, 31 where you're good, but I don't know if you're a title contender next year without Tatum. So I think you get max value for him and be ready for the year when Tatum comes back. That's how I would approach it.
Listen, the way I look at Brown and White, obviously Brown's younger, but look at the discrepancy in what they're paid. And then talk about the different discrepancy in talent and impact on the court. I just don't think it's very close.
Yeah, I wasn't saying trade Brown or White. I was saying trade both potentially. But if you're going to keep one, it's White. It's 100.
I would also look to trade Brown because I think you get a lot back for him.
If you could
And
get
then-
picks, players, I mean, it all just sets you up for when Tatum returns to give him everything he needs to compete right away.
Okay, so speaking of Brown, I think he was asked, what is worse, Tatum injury or the loss? I can't wait to hear this answer. So that's number 3, Naya. Jaylen Brown, what's worse, the Tatum injury or the loss?
You know, I'm not sure how bad it is. Didn't look great. But I think everybody is, you know, kind of more concerned with that. Obviously, the loss is huge. And but we got to get ready for Game 5. So we'll take the night and pick our heads up tomorrow and put together a game plan to come out on our own floor to keep this series alive.
Yeah, I mean, Jaylen Brown's a thoughtful, good kid, and he gave a great answer to a wild question. You have to put the human element if you're Brown first. So he said that is at the forefront of our mind. And plus, the series isn't over. So the Celtics have to believe, like you said, they're favored tomorrow. They have to believe they can come back and beat the Knicks. I don't happen to believe that, but they have to believe it.
No, it's pretty well. I can't remember the last time a team was about to win a series. And so the Knicks are minus 525. But right now, they're catching 4.5. That feels like a lot of points when Boston's shorthanded. And I guess the question is, how does Boston come out? Do they come out inspired? Are they fired up? Is this a chance where it's like one guy goes down and someone steps up to pick up the slack? A guy like Peyton Pritchard normally comes off the bench. Does he just go off because he gets more run and has his moment? Or do they just lay down and die? To say, you know what, our leader's gone, our number one guy's gone, we got nothing left to play for, and the Knicks just roll and advance. Like,
No, I mean, it wouldn't be
both scenarios.
It wouldn't be crazy for the Knicks emotionally to have a boost. Excuse me, the Celtics emotionally to have a boost and win tomorrow. The concept of winning 3 straight without Tatum, who had 42 before the injury last night, to me, that's where you're stretching it a little far. Look, the one thing that is very clear, whether it be the sharpest of NBA observers or us or the professional gamblers on Twitter, the concept of the Celtics, Cavs, Eastern Conference Finals being a foregone conclusion doesn't appear so. Because they're both down 3-1 in their series.
You know, it's funny because go back a few weeks ago, that was the thought. It was like, it's just those teams. That's it. Cavs, Boston, everyone else stinks in the East. And the Tatum injury happened. But as you mentioned, it happened with the Knicks about moments away from going up 3-1. And in the end, the 2 teams we thought were the only good ones out of the East are not going to be there in the end to play to go to the finals. It's going to be Indiana. It's going to be New York. And it's going to be an old school rivalry reignited where the Knicks want some payback for how things went down last year, where the Knicks were so hurt. They were kind of like Cleveland, where guys just weren't healthy at the right time. And now they get a chance at full strength, a little bit better with Bridges now turning into a fourth hero superstar, and they get a shot at Indiana in the next round. That feels inevitable.
Look, perfect world, if you're a Knicks fan like you, if you're a Knicks player, you obviously, for the human being, don't want to see what happened to Tatum happen. And you don't want to, competitively, you don't want to see what happened to Tatum happen either. You want to beat them on the square. And that's exactly what the Knicks were built to do, and that's exactly what they were going to do. So you'd prefer just beat them on the square. It's unfortunate for Tatum, and it's unfortunate for us as viewers because it just loses some juice. The Steph Curry injury, the exact same scenario. Lost a lot of juice in that. Last night, Golden State was never even pretending to be in the game. That's not great for anything. Specifically after you're coming off the heels of, Lee Harvey Oswald talking about the Dallas Mavericks. Like you had last night one of your biggest stars go down. You had the Dallas Mavericks break people's brains, and then you had a non-existent Golden State Warrior team at home not post.
Yeah.
After a great start to the second round, although the Knicks-Celtics game was awesome.
It was awesome. And we were begging for it, and it ended up giving us exactly what we were looking for. The Knicks closed that thing at the end of the third, take the lead going into the fourth. Tatum looked shaky, then hit a couple big shots. We got the drama we wanted out of the game, but, I mean, the black cloud just hangs over. Tatum going down. It was a weird night in the association. It was a weird, weird night. And I guess the question is, will tonight be weirder? Cleveland up to start 13-8 right now, 5.5 to go in the first. And then we have the late game where that series is tied 2-2, and it could very well be 3-1 either way when you look at how it's gone.
You'll go out to bet the Nuggets tonight if that's what you think. Have fun. They should take a money line. Could do that.
I'm not saying the future looks that way. I'm saying the past looks like it could have been
I think
3-1.
the Nuggets being 2-2 in this series, I think that's a win for basketball. I think it's a win for a defending champ that has a short roster. They have 5 players because I don't know if you consider Russ a player. I know that offends people. He does play basketball, but they've got their rotation goes 5 deep, and they're tied with the deepest team in the league right now. The Nuggets have shown out. Good for them.
Yeah, and Jokic looks exhausted, and he's not putting up the numbers he normally puts up because he can only do so much. I just wanted to see, Russell Westbrook is 36 years old. Do you think at any point while he's still playing in the NBA, he realizes there's a reason why teams leave him so wide open and not to shoot those
Oklahoma
shots
City's
anymore?
not on the perimeter. They're not pretending to defend him. I will say about Russ, if people are hard on Russ, he's a marvel athletically. You just said he's 36 years old. Maybe he's slowed down a step, but he is still he's incredible. All right, let's do this. Let's open up your calls again. We've got the Nuggets Thunder later. Right now, a 3-point lead for the Cavs. Be interesting to see if Indiana can close them out there on the road. NHL-wise, just one on the ice tonight. The Jets are at the Stars. Dallas is going to be a big favorite, close to $1.60 with the Stars up 2-1 on Winnipeg. Okay? So, again, in no way was I trying to be callous. I feel horrible for Tatum. He's wonderful to watch. He was great in the game last night. But I do think there's a little bit of discrediting of the Knicks that as a Knicks fan, you should be upset by it. I as a Brunson guy, I'm just like, yeah, Tatum was having one of the best games of his career. Brunson matched him. So what does it say about Brunson?
What's it say about the NBA that no one saw this coming from Jalen Brunson? What's it say about the Mavs? Like, this dude's a killer. He's built different, and for whatever reason, when the game's on the line, he plays better. When there's more pressure late in the game, he seems to zone in and just shots that maybe wouldn't fall earlier, he just knocks them down. Everything's money when it matters for Brunson late in games.
Yeah, he's just built different. Let's open up the calls here, VSiN Live on a Tuesday. Got a lot of fun stuff to do. Listen, as much as I want to clown the NBA postseason, I'll tell you, it has been rife with storylines. I've been engaged every night. Mitchell just went hard to the rack. He is down, and he is not getting up. Now he's up. He just got up. He bounced up after attempting a dunk, got fouled on the play. Mitchell, who was a game-time decision, tried to split a double team and went hard for a tomahawk dunk, hit the front of the rim, and then landed on his back. That looked like it hurt. Ouch. But Mitchell is up. He's good.
He's shooting free throws.
Let's say hi to our buddy Jeff in Chicago here on VSiN Live. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up?
Just a couple thoughts. You were talking about Jalen Brunson. Did he not win the Clutch Player of the Year? And I don't even know what that means. But
He did.
The dude's been clutch throughout the entire playoffs. So, give him props. The guy's been balling out. Leading the team to a 3-1, lead in the series. So, I think what you're saying is right. Some of the Knicks' dominance is getting lost. But just a question. I didn't see the game last night. And, Tatum, great player. Love the guy. Good guy. Getting hurt on a non-contact injury. But just a question, did he ask for a foul when he went down?
I did. You know what, Jeff? I didn't see that part. Good to hear from you. The non-contact is what Jeff just pointed out is true. As soon as we saw that there was no contact, you knew it was probably a KD situation with the Achilles.
But that's the thing. Normally when people hurt their Achilles is they think someone stepped on the back of their foot, and they always look back. That's usually the tell that it's an Achilles injury.
Right,
So
but what was so odd about that was he was in so much pain. Generally, when somebody
Yeah.
pops their Achilles, they kind of think they can keep playing. They thought
I
they thought somebody hit him with like a rubber band in the back of the
Yeah, I
shin or
thought the
whatever.
same thing too. I was surprised like he was in so much pain. That's why I didn't think it would be the Achilles. But then they showed the replay and you kind of saw that ripple that we've gotten. We're all well too familiar with what an Achilles injury looks like. It feels like it's happening a lot.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Yeah, it sucks for Tatum. Sucks for Celtics fans. But again, let's not discredit the Knicks. Chris is in Georgia here on VSiN Live. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Patrick, man, I love talking to you. It's been a little bit since I talked to you last. You'll remember me when I tell you the story. You were talking in COVID about Winston Churchill, and you were reading about this story that you told about Winston Churchill, about a book you were reading, and you were talking about history. And I was like, man, this guy is more than a sports writer. He's a sportscaster. He's just so well-versed in everything. So love the way you did that.
I
And,
remember
wanted-
speaking with you, Chris. It's good to hear from you after all this time.
You remember me? I'll
Yep.
always remind you of that. So, hey, man, I was listening to you on the day of the Kentucky Derby. And my daughter's into equestrian, so she does it. And we're like, we wanted to watch the race. We weren't sure who was going to win the race. And we came across, it wasn't your regular show on VSiN. You were guesting on some show.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, the winner is going to be Sovereignty. And I go, so I was telling my daughter, I go, we should bet that horse. We should absolutely. If Patrick says it's going to be like we didn't know anything, and he won. What was the payout for that? If you'd have done win, place, or show, do you even remember?
I do. First off, Chris, great to hear from you. Thank you, and I appreciate. Yeah, I mean, saying that I was bringing up Winston Churchill, that could have been any day of the week. So I know I was really into him during COVID, but if you're around me enough, I'm probably going to bring up Winston during a day, Tuesday. But
Speaking of, I'll have some Winston Churchill facts for you in closing tabs today.
So wonderful. But to answer your question, he went off at 6.5 to 1, somewhere in there. So it's a great payoff. It's a great payout. I love Sovereignty. From the jump, it's unfortunate we're not going to, and that's cool that your daughter's an equestrian. That if I had a daughter, Chris, I would want her. Here's my checklist. First off, stay away from people like Dustin.
I mean, you're right. It still hurts.
Or me. Men stink, literally, figuratively. So I would say to my daughter, it's an open society these days. No, anyway, I would say to my daughter, let's chill out on men till about 31. Secondly, I would say, social media is for losers, and I would ingrain in my daughter, there is nothing to benefit from talking. There is nothing to benefit from Instagramming, and I would direct her towards horses, or I would direct her towards golf. If you have a child, how is it possible you don't want them to walk, good for your heart, see beautiful nature, good for your soul, travel, and compete? Golf is the number one seed for all children, including daughters. And yeah, those would be the two. I'd want her to ride horses, not dudes, and golf.
Well, to the golf thing, I'm pretty sure hundreds, if not thousands, of women's golf scholarships go unused every year. So if your daughter can play golf, you don't have to pay for college anymore. That would be the key there. Also, I just started thinking, Brunson, we're talking about the clutchness. Is there even another player in the NBA you take over him in the fourth quarter? Because I've just compiled a list of the best, and maybe two of these guys I would take over Brunson, I think. Maybe.
We can throw it out. 888-MAD-DOG-6, 888-623-3646. I have, just like our buddy Jeff, I don't know what it means to be the clutch player of the year. I think it just means you're awesome.
I think the NBA nerds have some definitions for certain shots and certain times and situations of games. I don't know what those are. I just know that Jalen Brunson, as a Knicks fan, if they're within 15 or 20, because they have him, they always have a chance to win. That feels like clutch.
It's just such a weird. When did the clutch award even start? That wasn't an award when I was growing up.
No, let's see. That's a good question. Clutch award.
It just sounds like
in
something
May.
people were just like, clutch?
Yeah, no kidding. It started in the 2022-23 season.
You know what? I don't recognize the clutch award.
It's not a real
I just
thing.
don't. It's so nebulous. Oh, that guy seems good when it matters. But we can ask the question because I have one person that immediately popped to mind.
I had
that
one as well. That was it.
I would put immediately on the same level as Brunson. 888-623-3646. Good start for the Cavs. So if you laid the price, you're looking good early, but we've remembered, temper your excitement early in these playoffs. Cleveland up 21-12, so a 9-point lead, 2:59 to play in the first. Got another on the wood, got another on the ice coming up as well. We're just getting started. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. Welcome back to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Okay, our buddy Chris called in, and he talks about us hitting the Kentucky Derby. I did pick the winner. Samich got you with the Superfecta, so he made you over $1,600, and the Preakness is coming up, so you can sign up right now to become a VSiN Pro, get all the horse racing picks, get everything we offer. Go to vsin.com/subscribe. Use the promo code SIRIUS. You're going to get a great deal, $19 through August 1st. Now think about that. If one race from Samich can win you $1,600, that's more than $19. It pays it off. So make sure somebody actually bet on Samich's. We saw the receipt. He bet the Super and made $35,000. So there's money to be made. Go vsin.com/subscribe. Promo code SIRIUS. Dustin Swedelson. I'm Patrick Meagher. Gianna's dad, John Goulet, over at the Win SiriusXM studios. Yeah, listen, bottom line is this. I got a message from my sister today, and I'm glad I did, because then I texted, by the way, 30-17 Cleveland up on Indy. I texted my nephew. He turned 16 today, and he got his driver's license. And I said, not to be the old guy, but on what effing planet are we giving a 16-year-old 2 tons of metal to be out there with somebody like me who's responsible, got his head on a swivel, values life? I know Landon. He is an idiot. No offense to my nephew. He doesn't value anything except video games, okay? So the concept of him driving, you know what? The bottom line is kids shouldn't drive till they're 18, 19 years old. That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
I agree.
Get back to the
I agree.
sports betting.
Not till you can go away for war. It's a murder machine. I think I am still shocked that I survived being 16 with a license.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think I'm stupid now, can you imagine how stupid I was then?
You're not. Your brain's still trying to figure things out. What, you think I'm gonna let you in on the highway? Get the hell out of here, kid. 888-623-3646. A lot to do because Tatum is gone, which is sad for Tatum and Boston fans. Boston, let me just say this, and with all due respect to John Adams and Sam Adams, his cousin, you annoy the rest of the country.
Yeah.
All right? So for us to be empathetic because of the Tatum injury, we feel bad for the human. We don't feel bad for the region. That's no disrespect.
No, it was a beautiful thing when we were younger. That area didn't win. The post-Bird Celtics didn't win. The Patriots, Ben Coates, that era didn't win. The Red Sox obviously didn't win. It was nice because they complained a lot. They were always getting beaten down. They'd always lose in epic proportions in a big moment for the national audience to watch. It was fun to watch their demise. Now they've totally made up for it. Now they're obnoxious. Now they win all the time. Now a kid born in 1999 has done nothing but watch his teams win his entire life.
Yeah, and the injury, it sucks for us because we like the basketball. I do think the Knicks were still going to – obviously, they were going to win the game last night prior to the Tatum injury. Most likely, we're going to win the series. You'd like to see Tatum compete. He was awesome in the game. But Brunson's been the best player, so we were asking, he won the Mr. Clutch. Right now, I believe he scored 18 in the third last night. He was awesome in the fourth. He gets to his spots. It doesn't matter how big the defender is. He's just awesome. So we're thinking – who else would you rather have in the fourth? I'll tell you one that we're watching right now. If Mitchell's healthy and Mitchell's on, he's tremendous. He's taken a step forward this year to that point where obviously he's a 1.
Yeah, he's quieted those questions. He absolutely can carry a team. He can be that go-to guy. He can do everything across the board. I mean, he's turned into a legit special guy that can control the outcome of a game. Some notes on Brunson that I thought were fascinating. Since 97, fourth quarter points through the first 10 games of one playoff run, he has the most. 102 points, first 10 games of the playoffs. Number 2 is Kobe in 03, then 01 Kobe, 2023 Steph, and 08 Kobe. That's the class he's in.
Mr. Clutch. And if you're wondering, has the Clutch Award been around as long as the MVP? Not too much, not close. It's been around since 22. The Clutch Award feels like an award that was created on social media.
Yeah, and it was created because a sponsor came and said, look, we're willing to spend this much money, name an award after us. That's the vibe I get.
Yeah, the Clutch Award exists because of Sprite. Let's be
Who is the
completely
Clutch? Who sponsors the Clutch Award? That's a good question.
I care less about the sponsor than I do the award. So, but Sprite isn't bad if I had to drink a soda. Dan in Oregon here, VSiN Live. Hi, Dan.
Patrick, first-time caller. I've listened to you for a long time.
Thank you.
And I really think you have a great show. Dustin, you're the smartest pervert I've ever heard of before.
Oh, wow. That is a compliment.
I'll take it.
That is a compliment. Dustin is really smart. I just wanted to mention to you who has the. Do you know who has the nickname of Mr. Clutch?
Oh.
Not John Barry, is it?
No. He is the NBA logo.
Oh, West.
Jerry West, Mr. Clutch.
That I should have known that. I knew it was that era. That era. Who is the modern day outside of Brunson for you, Dan? Who's the modern day Clutch?
I'm not a big fan of his, but maybe I'd say LeBron. Maybe especially with his defense, with those defensive stops that he's made towards the end of the game. I mean, when Cleveland won the seventh game and against the
when he chased down the block.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was incredible. Hey, Dan, you should call us more. We appreciate that. You called Dustin a smart pervert. That is going to go on his tombstone. Let's put the charade aside.
Yeah.
There is one player that belongs in the quote-unquote clutch conversation. It's Steph Curry.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. That's the one. It's the only one. When I made this list, I said 100% I would take him over Jalen Brunson. But Jalen Brunson's starting to have enough moments where he's young enough he could start to close that gap in his career. But the only one is Steph. It's LeBron acquiesced way too much earlier in his career and would dish the ball out to someone and let someone else take the final shot for me to consider him for this.
Yeah, it's Steph. Steph has entered the chat in such epic proportions where he's 37. We see what happens when the Warriors lose him. When he retires, he's going to be a part of every conversation. Like, who would you want? Fill in the blank. Who would you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's now in the conversation of if you could have anyone in NBA history and you're starting your team with one player. I think Steph is a player who's now, I don't know if that makes him a top 5 all time. I think it makes him a top 5 mismatch of all time, where I don't know how you defend and deal with what he brings to the table as a scorer, the running all over the floor, tiring out a defense, just being a threat literally from the time he crosses half court. It changes everything about the way you have to defend the other 4 players on the floor.
Yeah, I think like right now, even at 37, like one game to win, all rosters equal, you can pick one play. I think I still have to take Steph. That's a wild thing to say.
I do think it's
Steph.
Steph.
It's only 3. It's Steph, Jokic, or Jalen. That's the only 3 for me. To tell you how ridiculous the Mr. Clutch Award is, so is calling Jerry West Mr. Clutch. Goulet said Jerry West was 1-8 in the finals. Now, he was going up against some good Celtic teams, but yeah, it was Mr. Clutch was 1-8.
And
the logo.
The thing that's interesting too, Brunson's 6'2". What's Curry, 6'3"?
Maybe.
And then the rest of the conversation are guys who are like physical freaks. I just think that's interesting. The 2 guys that I would take right now are 2 guys who are kind of on the smaller side. And I think Jokic is in the conversation. And while Jokic is, we all agree, he's the best player in the world. He's better than Brunson. The reason I wouldn't take him over Brunson is because it's easier for Brunson to create his own shot. It's a lot harder. Jokic needs to kick it out to someone, give it back to him, and it becomes a little bit difficult at his size in clutch moments of the game.
The comparison for Brunson, I'll use this in a weird way. Kevin Durant and Jalen Brunson, by the time they're retired, their legacy won't even be viewed in the same stratosphere. There's going to be Durant, and then Brunson will be way down the list. Durant needed those Warriors to win those MVP. What Durant has done without, Brunson has done more. So last year, Brunson carrying the Knicks. This year, Brunson carrying he has done when it mattered more than a guy that everybody would agree Kevin Durant is a better basketball player.
Durant went and had to jump on to other teams, had to, need help from other superstars. And Jalen Brunson's the one who started this run for the Knicks. He went to the Knicks, signed there, and everything was built up around him. Every move was seemingly made with his approval, and it was to showcase what he does and get him the right players that fit what he does. But he didn't need another superstar. He didn't need someone to take the burden off of him. He needed someone to kind of play off of what he does well and complement his skill set. Whereas Durant went and latched on with the Warriors, and that's why he won everything.
Yeah, I was just been thinking about having a daughter lately. And I said horseback riding or golf. And our friend Sarah is going to help us with the horseback riding here. Sarah in Jacksonville. Hi, Sarah.
Hey, guys. I got to be honest with you. I've never called in before. I'm a wee bit nervous, to be honest.
Well, no, first off, there's no reason to be nervous. And welcome. It's nice to talk to you.
All right, nice to talk to you. The reason I was calling about the horseback riding was my daughter, it's cute pictures when they're 3 years old and all that kind of stuff. And we kind of steered her away from it, basically because of the, concern over injuries and things of that nature. I mean, these are massive animals and the cost. So, yes, it looks nice. And I agree. I would rather have my daughter on a horse than, her 16-year-old boyfriend. I totally get it.
Yes.
But, she's now 29 years old and still involved in the sport heavily. It costs a fortune.
So did you steer her, Sarah, into did she remain in athletics at all?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, she played other sports and she played golf and she played softball and she did all those other things. But when she went off to college, she went back to the horses. And, of course, we never, at that point you're in college. You're doing your own thing. And, now, 11 years later, still involved in it. So I'm just from a parent's perspective, that's all.
Well, let me ask you from a parent's perspective, as a man that's never had children and you have a 29-year-old daughter, you've done a great job. You don't do it? Okay, I won't do it. But if I did have a daughter.
Go for it.
Oh, go for it?
Okay.
I don't know if you want me having children. If you, let me ask you this, Sarah. Did your daughter being involved in athletics and extracurricular stuff like that keep her away from the nonsense that is social media and boys?
Big time. And my son, the same thing, was heavily involved. He played baseball, and he was heavily involved too. So I was fortunate. So I have two kids that have, I agree with you. The social media stuff is completely out of control. I also agree that 16-year-olds should not have driver's licenses.
Thank you. Hey, Sarah, now that I can tell you're not nervous, let's get down to brass tacks.
Sure.
I know you can't pick one, but your son or your daughter, which one?
No, you're right. There's no friggin' way I'm picking one. I love them both equally for different reasons. How about that?
I know. Thanks, Sarah. You should call again. See, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. I always do that to my mom. Listen, I know for a fact, we're going to be joined by Samich here, John Goulet. They both have one daughter. First off, you stop then. Who wants a son? What a freaking pain. I just told you, the 16-year-old Landon, he just had a birthday. He's the worst. The Ava one, the one that's older than him, she's an angel. Men suck. Boys suck equally. But I'll say this. The concept of having a child and then having them just sit around on TikTok or Instagram and not get out and run around and touch some grass, I'd be a great parent. There would be no screens. You hear me, Samich? You hear me, Goulet? No screens. Those kids are going to live like it's the Great Depression.
Reading books.
They're going to work, and they're going to
art.
get outside and enjoy themselves. I don't know why I brought up the Great Depression.
But I think your philosophy is a little flawed, because I think boys are going to suck no matter what. So I'd rather have a boy because I can make the boy suck less towards girls. Whereas if I have a girl, do you know how hard it is to keep sucky boys away from the girl? That's next to impossible.
Listen. I had two sisters, and I was me. Trust me when I tell you, my parents preferred those two. There's this when you're being brought home by the police and the girls are already in the house, your parents are like, we probably botched it with number 2. We're coming back. It's VSiN Live.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
44-28, the Cavs lead the Pacers. Still 7:20 to play, so plenty of time. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. We go to Houston and say hi to Biscuit. What up, Biscuit?
Hey, what's up, my brothers?
What's happening?
Man, I feel like it's a little recency bias going on in that studio over there, man.
Oh, is it you love Russ Westbrook? Are you about to tell me how much you love Russ, right?
No, I'm about to tell you who was clutch.
Go for
and
it.
You talking about MJ, Kobe, and Bird. You know
No,
what I'm
we're
saying?
talking present day. Well, who would you rather have present day Biscuit outside?
Present
of jail?
day. And what you mean? What's back to what? 2015?
No, playing right now.
No, they literally
Playing
playing
right now.
basketball
In
today.
the league right now? Oh,
Yeah.
probably Damon Lillard. He's probably more
Oh,
clutch.
stop.
Oh, Biscuit! Get the hell out! Are you kidding? Are you trolling me?
Hey,
You got a time machine?
Look up how many game-winning shots Stephen made. Look up how many Damon Lillard's made. I bet he's made more.
It's been a minute.
Well, I'll have to do the research, dig a little bit, but I'd say present day, I'm going to take Steph over Dame, but I do appreciate your opinion. Let's just say that. Because that's me being magnanimous. I'll get one more in. Tony in Detroit, our buddy. What up, Tony?
Hey, real quick before I get to the horseback riding, hey, bigger fumble, not winning with Westbrook, Durant, and Hardaway, or Brunson, Porzingis, and Luka. How about those?
Yeah, but biggest recovery, fixing the draft. Am I right?
Well, hey, OKC has recovered though. They've done it the right way.
Oh yeah, how they have.
Yeah, Patrick, we're on the horseback. I got a 10-year-old daughter. She started riding horse back at like 5. She actually stopped doing it because she fell, but she didn't get hurt bad or anything. But I'm going to tell you one thing. My 2 sons, I've had them on wrestling mats, returning punts, all kinds of things through my life. Nothing more stressful than watching your little girl ride a horse, a big animal.
I can see it. I can see it.
And you'll like this, Patrick. She used to go to a stable up on Rochester Road, about 32, 33 mile road. Now, it's not far from where I think you grew up in that area. But, yeah, she did it for quite a few years, and now she has stopped for a little while and is talking about getting – she's 10 now. I said she fell about 2 years ago. But yeah, it is a cool thing. She started doing it very, very young, about 4 years old, riding horseback. And
wow.
It was
Hey, Tony,
cool.
here's what's fascinating to me about you. I've known you forever. I know you have sons. I never knew you had a 10-year-old daughter. Have you ever walked into a CVS?
Walked into a CVS?
Have you ever heard of a prophylactic? Every time I talk to you, you have another kid.
Hey, bro, listen. I had three good shots in my life, bro. What am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Good job. Starting your daughter riding horses at 4 is aggressive.
Yeah, some would say Tony had 3 clutch shots.
He did. Samich. He's back. He was just actually playing soccer with his daughter. Take notes, parents. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Okay, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Quick update, 15-point lead for the Cat. Although a big three from Indiana, it is now a 12-point lead. Just relax, Samich. We're good. We're going to get there with Indiana. Remember, you want the newsletter? Bill A.D.'s got you covered. He's like James Bond in Vegas, if you've ever met him. And he's also writing our newsletter. Go to vsin.com/newsletter. You get picks, you get information. You see Mike Samich there. You see Dustin Swedelson there. It's all good. vsin.com/newsletter. It's free. A bucket from Cleveland, so 48-34. Let's see if we can climb back into this. I think Indiana's going to end up pushing late in this. A nice bucket there from Indiana. So, again, just a 12-point game, 5:54 to play. I mentioned Mike Samich, our buddy. Of course, he's the one that made you rich coming out of the Kentucky Derby, hit the Superfecta. He has got the shows going for the Preakness. The VSiN at the Track was such a wild success, they said, you got to keep running it back. And they literally are doing that on Fridays. You can check them out on youtube.com/VSiN Live, 2:15 East, 11:15 West, repurposed and replayed on VSiN proper on Saturday. And Samich, you're going to be doing a 2-hour broadcast, simulcasting on Mad Dog Sports Radio and VSiN for the Preakness, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Waiting on the time. I believe it's going to be 6 to 8 Pacific, or 6 to 8 Eastern, 3 to 5 Pacific for the 2-hour broadcast on Preakness Saturday, which will be this Saturday. But we'll be right here on Mad Dog Sports Radio, and then also be on all the VSiN proper channels as well as the VSiN Watch app as well.
Yeah, the feedback was awesome from the Kentucky Derby show, which you and Aaron Halterman did 4 hours. God bless. And was tremendous. Of course, you can check out Samich writing over at vsin.com and hosting on VSiN as well. We were just talking about Cleveland and Indiana. You were bitching because it's like, if you fade Cleveland, that's when they bite you in the ass. If you back Cleveland, that's when they bite you in the ass.
It's been the most frustrating series for me from a betting perspective. I've been in the generally right direction. I'm just not choosing the right time to wager. Like tonight, to me, it was Cleveland or pass in the first half. I like betting the first half of these playoff games. I think they're a little more predictive than the full game. And so I was Cleveland or pass here in the first half, and I chose to pass. Probably should have played Cleveland. On the game 4, I was Pacers or pass first half. I passed. Probably should have played the Pacers, right? So it's interesting. We'll go back to Indiana most likely for game 6 here if Cleveland able to hold on. To me, that's another Pacers or pass there. But it's tough when you're picking the right side and not putting the bet down. It feels like a loss, even though you didn't lose anything.
Yeah, it's a weird series, and we're going to go back to Indiana. And look, the Pacers are a team, full disclosure, I maybe watched them for half a game if we add up all the time I saw them on the screen during the regular season. And they've surprised me, Mike. I think they're kind of good. I just don't know how good, because I don't know what to make of Cleveland with all the injuries they're dealing with. What have you seen from Indiana? Should they move on, likely taking on the Knicks? How dangerous do you think the Pacers are to win the East?
I think they're legitimately dangerous. I really do, especially when Halliburton is playing the way that he has through the end of the season and through the playoffs. This team is deep. I don't think they get enough credit for how they're able to go 9, 10 deep if they need to. Miles Turner has been playing awesome. Pascal Siakam's been playing awesome. I love Nembhard and Nesmith as well. They're another, like, they just can keep throwing guys at you. And then you've got McConnell, you've got Toppin, you've got Mathurin. It's just this constant, like, just waves of dudes that can all play in different manners. They're able to press the inbounds passers. Like, if they do face the Knicks, I loved what they did in game 4, where they came out and they said, we're going to throw like a sort of pseudo full court press at you because we know your guards are injured. We're going to make them dribble the ball 94 feet. Guess what they're going to do against the Knicks team that only plays 6 dudes? They're going to press them and just run them and try and grind them down. I think it'll be a heck of a series. I think the Pacers should almost be the favorites to come out of the East, which is wild to say considering where we were just 2-3 weeks ago.
Tyrese Halliburton with a big 3 there, Mike. 48-41, timeout.
Yeah.
Cleveland, 7-point game.
Do we want to take Indiana plus 325 right now on the money line? Because I'm kind of intrigued by it. Because Cleveland, all the injuries, maybe not built up for the full game here. Could wear and tear. Mitchell obviously was a game time decision. Like, if any of those guys, those injuries are nagging, like, I think Indiana's live.
I just played a little plus 9.5. When you said the number, I was like, wait a second, that equates to like plus 9. So I just went over to my book there, and I caught plus 9.5 and was happy to click the button.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I got them before the game started, close to $3 on the Pacers. It's been weird with the pricing. Like, but let's just reset what happened last night. Mike, feel horrible for Tatum. First off, Tatum stays in the game. They weren't beating the Knicks last night. So my take is, of course, you feel horrible for the human being, but I think a little bit is being taken away from the Knicks. The Knicks were freaking awesome yesterday.
Well, they were. They played a phenomenal basketball game, and you got to give credit to Jalen Brunson, who, you've got Jason Tatum, who is having his best all-around game of his career. He had 6 steals, 5 steals, 2 blocks, was just making it rain from three-point range, and Brunson responded on the point side. He started to put up points on the offensive end just as much as Tatum did. You saw much more of the man game from Boston versus moving the ball around and being able to be successful on that side of the ball. Jaylen Brown was awful. I mean, he was just terrible for this Celtics team. It looks like Porzingis just doesn't know how to play basketball anymore, which is absolutely wild. This Knicks team just, look, at some point, it feels like they're going to run out of energy. They're playing 40-plus minutes, 5 dudes every single game. That is not sustainable through a full playoff. But at this point, they are able to pull it off, and they're playing their best basketball at the right time. And the thing I think, you were talking about, like, who's the biggest clutch guy in the NBA right now? The Knicks might be the most clutch team, and Boston might be the least clutch team. You just, as a Knick fan, you just want this to be close late, and you know that Boston's going to throw up all of themselves, and the Knicks are going to be able to find a way to win.
Yeah, I mean, how about the player conversation we were having, Mike, with Brunson? Because it all starts and ends with him. If Jalen Brunson's not on the Knicks, what are they even a playoff team? Like, where are they in the hierarchy in the East with what he does, controls the tempo of the game, in big moments, comes up big. We had one player we thought of in the league that we would take over him in the clutch. Can you come up with a player in the league or multiple that you take over him in the clutch when it matters?
Well, I mean, first off, would they make the playoffs? Yes, because the East is a dumpster fire, but that's the only reason. Like, they wouldn't in the West. I'm a sucker. I would rather take Nikola Jokic over anybody in the NBA if I have one shot, one possession to get a good shot, because you're guaranteed to create a good shot with him as the person who is playing point man there. If it's actually who's taking the shot,
yes,
to me, it's Brunson, it's Curry, and I would throw out Tyrese Maxey in there too, who is one of the best clutch ratings in the NBA. We don't get to see him very often because of how bad Philly has been, but he was awesome last year in the playoffs when he was playing clutch games. Shea, obviously, another one that you have to at least consider, but I don't love Shea in the playoffs in clutch moments. If you go back and you watch, I think it was Game 3. He's trying to pull off his crazy, I'm going to jump into you and get fouled in the last second versus just trying to get a good shot up. That stuff doesn't get called as much in the playoffs. It's one of the reasons we've seen Shea struggle a little bit more. So I would probably say Brunson or Curry if I'm picking someone to take the shot. If I'm picking one player to facilitate the possession, give me Jokic.
Tyrese Maxey has entered the chat. It got weird on a Tuesday.
But not Damian Lillard, to be clear. Damian Lillard not even in the top 10 right now.
I can back the Maxey up with stats at least. The Lillard one was just left field, dude.
I like Tyrese Maxey. If I'm juggling him or Steph, I think I'm leaning Steph, but I like Maxey as a player. I like Maxey as a player. Let's jump to the hockey, and then we'll come back to the basketball. Plenty to do as we got a game coming up tonight. By the way, it's a 5-point game. So your first half might not even have won. So you might have held off at the right time. It's now a 3-point game as Siakam to the bucket. I think Cleveland's going to wear down in the second half. We shall see. Congrats. Take a bow. If you're watching the Hurricanes and Caps, they don't generally belong on the ice at the same time as teams. One is a lot faster and a lot better at the sport, and the Caps have just been a nice story.
Yeah, this has been my favorite series to bet in the entire playoffs, NBA or NHL. It's been phenomenal. We talked about this last week. The first period under is now 5-0 in this series, 4-0 in this series. The second period under is undefeated in this series. We've only seen 2 periods with 3 goals. Both of those are third periods, so you're never getting caught by those. And you can just tell that look, Carolina's the better team. I've got a -1.5 games all over the place. I've been playing Carolina every game, playing unders every game, so this has been fun. We talked about this Capitals team and how, look, they're just going to run out of gas at some point. And that when you're playing in the regular season and you get to play some bad teams sprinkled in every now and then you play a good team, then you're playing 3 or more 4 games against bad teams, you're able to go on runs and play above your skis. When you get to the playoffs, you got to face Carolina 7 times in a row. That is a very different beast. And look, the Roosters are just coming home here. It's hard for the Capitals to be able to consistently play that many good games against someone like Carolina, who is just so disciplined defensively and is able to get enough pucks in the net.
Also, Game 5 coming up here or Thursday. Carolina's minus 170 on the road. I normally wouldn't lay 170, but I feel like that's kind of a value just because I don't know what you're getting offensively from the Capitals at home at this point. Would you lay that? Or would you go puck line in that one, you think, Mike?
I would be, so it's an elimination game, so I'm playing puck line. If I'm gonna lay, I'd rather play the puck line than lay anything near the 170 range. What we've seen in elimination games is you generally get between 30 seconds and a minute extra of goalie pull time. So that means that like if they're down 1 goal, instead of pulling their goalie with a minute 30 or 2 minutes left, you're going to see that goalie come out of the net with 2.5 or 3 minutes. That gives you extra time to try and score an empty netter, and it's something that has the last 2 or 3 years, specifically in game closing series or games that close out series, we are seeing that goalie exit the goal a lot earlier. So I would lay the 1.5. I also would look at in regulation, Dustin. You could probably get right around even money for the Hurricanes to win in regulation. I would play first period under 1.5. I would do that now. I would not wait till tomorrow because that's going to be juicier tomorrow. And then in game, I would wait for second period under 2, which has been sitting there minus 135 every single game in this series and is yet to lose.
So Halliburton got a big 3, and then Mitchell came down and got a bucket. So it's a 3-point game, 55-52, 33 seconds to play. Halliburton from the logo was good. And Siakam just had a chance to tie it up with a corner 3. He misses it. So 3-point game, Cleveland ball, 33 seconds to play. We'll keep you updated again. That was, Cleveland up 15, 17 points a little earlier. Mitchell at the stripe. Halliburton's got 17 in the first, Mitchell with 15. The other series, I'll frame it this way. Who knew Vegas sucked or Edmonton was this great? All of a sudden, Skinner is Dominic Hasek?
I don't even know what to say. I don't know how to explain this Edmonton team. I still think the Los Angeles Kings are better than them. I am certain that the Vegas Golden Knights are better than them, and yet somehow they are winning these hockey games with subpar goaltending. They are just getting some of the timeliest goals I've ever seen, and it's funny to say that because we obviously saw in Game 3, the Knights score with 0.4 seconds left, but before that, we were able to see Connor McDavid score off someone's skate with 3 minutes to tie it. They had multiple comebacks in the third period against the Kings. They're just able to create goals right now, and they're playing well in their depth. They're starting to get healthier, which is something that's interesting as well. They're talking about getting Ekholm back possibly for the next series. He's their best defenseman. He hasn't been playing for 2 rounds. Evander Kane came back midway through the first round. He's been a force offensively for them. So who knows, man? I mean, this Oilers team's worse than they were last year. Yet they have better results in the playoffs here so far than they did last year against what I believe are better teams than they faced last year. So it's an Edmonton team that right now knows how to win. It looks like they're going to get by Vegas, but I think they're going to play the Stars. I talked about this over the weekend. I bet the Stars plus 215 to win the Western Conference. They're at plus 140 right now. You can get Edmonton at plus 120. I'll tell you right now, you're not getting plus 140 on the Stars if they play Edmonton. So if you do like the Stars to get through the series, I think now is a good time to bet the Stars to win the West.
Yeah, let me just interject because I apologize. The puck dropped just as we were starting, but you did lay a 1.5 with the Stars tonight. People want to start getting mixed in game.
I did, yeah. I laid a 1.5 with the Stars tonight, taking on the Jets. Look, Hellebuck was a little bit better in Game 5 or in Game 3. They're in Dallas, but he has now given up 4 or more goals in 8 straight playoff road games. This Dallas team was buzzing around. I think they are clearly the better hockey team in this series. I think Dallas takes care of business again tonight. So we'll lay the 1.5 with Dallas. I think I got plus 171, somewhere in that range. You can get a live in-game since it's still 0-0 about 3 minutes in. Right now, laying a goal and a half gets you plus 55.
And we have a 4-point game at the break. Cleveland 56, Pacers 52. So we've got one. I did get in on that 9.5. I took a little bit of the money line too when we bet it a little bit ago. So feeling pretty good about that. You know who's not feeling good, Mike? Toronto fans. Like 4 days ago, we were talking about, well, what if Toronto Cup this year, and all of a sudden your Florida Panthers have evened up that series. Toronto's now the dog. Panthers are favored, and tomorrow they'll play game 5? And Florida's favored on the road, -142. Toronto plus 120, total 5.5. What do you think?
Florida's -190 in the series, which is wild considering they don't have home ice. You're going to have 2 of these final 3 games in Toronto. The pressure is just going to build on the Maple Leafs as we go through this. I think it's going to get harder and harder for them to be able to play. And Florida finally found their game. They found it in the second period of game 3. That's when they started to play downhill against this Toronto team. They were able to come out, take care of business in game 4. I like the idea. Like I played a little bit of the Panthers to win the conference. You can get them at +190 instead of betting the series -190. Look, if let's say this chalks out and that Carolina advances, which is highly likely, considering they're up 3-1, and then we see this Panthers team get past as a -190 favorite through the series. The Panthers are the favorites in that final series. They're going to be the chalk again to get through. Yet you can get +190 right now to win the East. So I do like the Panthers +190. When it goes to the single game, I don't hate the over 5.5 with those 2 teams. Both of them can score. You might have Stoles back. He was practicing for Toronto. He's their goalie who's missed the last 3 games. But I still like the over there, and I would lean toward Florida, man. Like, I like this Panther team. I think that they are just getting better as they're going through this series, and they've figured out how to play this Maple Leafs squad.
And you think them to win the East too, correct?
Yeah, the East +190, because if you get through here as a -190 favorite in the series, you're going to be a favorite against the Hurricanes as well, who'll be waiting for you. And this is the worst possible matchup for the Carolina Hurricane, would be the Florida Panthers, because they play a similar style, except Florida's just way more talented. Offensively, specifically, they're just way more talented. So I like Florida quite a bit if they do draw the Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference Finals.
By the way, your Stars play, which I agree with you on, Hellebuck on the road, let me fade that all day long. You can get +170 if you lay that puck line with Dallas right now in game, so you can get a better number. I'm with you on that. I did bet it right before you came on when you sent the text, so all over that one. The NBA, want to transition there. Because yesterday, the Mavs get the #1 pick. We can get into conspiracy theories and all that if you want to. But more importantly, what can we take from the fact that another team in the Spurs did not get the #1 pick, and what their future looks like and how we can bet them, Mike?
Yeah, I got a little crazy here. I'm not going to lie. I took some Spurs to win next year's NBA title. So the 26-27 NBA title at 25-1. They're still readily available at 22-1 if you want to get in on this one. Look, I think if the Spurs had gotten the #1 pick, they would have drafted Cooper Flagg, and that would have been that. The fact that they got the #2 pick and all of the assets that they have, I think they are very live for Giannis Antetokounmpo to end up there in San Antonio during this offseason. It feels like he's going to get moved. You're going to hear the Los Angeles Lakers. You're going to hear the Clippers. You're going to hear the Heat. You're going to hear teams like that. I'm not sure they have the assets, the ammunition to go get him that the Spurs specifically do, because if they put the #2 with, a handful of the draft picks that they currently have, maybe Castle, all of a sudden you're able to go get Giannis. And then you have a Fox, Giannis, and Wemby top 3, and that will be very, very difficult, even in a tough West. And the other part of this, if they make that move and they actually get him, they're 10-1 the minute after that trade gets completed. So I'm getting double the price now. And even if they don't go get Giannis, I do expect them to upgrade the team in the offseason. Making the move for De'Aaron Fox this year meant next year is the all-in year. Next year is the year they're going to try and make a playoff run.
I'm not convinced. We were talking about you having a family. I'm not convinced with all your horse racing duties and your VSiN duties. I'm not convinced you have a family when you also had time to think about, think about the Spurs next year to win a championship. Like what was your morning like? What were you up to, brother?
Well, here's the thing, Patrick. My daughter goes to school, which is great. It means Mike has a lot of time in the morning to handicap horses, maybe throw on some Survivor. I watched the long shot this morning in the background as well. And then able to also check out these different ideas of who could actually trade for Giannis, go and figure out who has the assets, and then figure out the prices and decide if I want to take any shots. Because when he gets on the move, someone's odds are being halved, and you just have to figure out whose odds it is.
Now, you are a very detail-oriented person, so I'm curious, how mapped out to the hour, to the minute is your daily calendar? I feel like you have a routine that you stick by each day.
I actually don't. I'm proud of myself for this one.
Really?
I don't have my day mapped out. I usually wake up between like 6:30 and 7, hang out with the daughter a little before school, and then try and work out at some point. But it's kind of free flowing because I like to be able to jump from horses to sports, have a podcast here, then go work out, whatever it is, so that I can keep changing it up, keep life interesting.
Hey, love to hear it. Denver, Oklahoma City tonight, tied up at 2s. Probably a win. We're talking to Mike Somich. Probably a win. And again, it's a 4-point game at the break with Cleveland up. The Pacers were down big and came back late there, so we shall see. Hopefully a good second half. I think a win for Denver to be tied at 2-2 here, but a tall task going to Oklahoma City tonight with the Thunder laying 10 and 222 on the total.
Yeah, this is a tough spot for Denver because, we talked about the zigzag theory, which is popular in the NBA, where if one team wins, you take the other team the next game. A lot of reasons for the zigzag theory are the fact that you have adjustments you can make. You have knobs you can turn on the defensive side. Denver's out of knobs. They've got nothing left. Like they cannot change. They ran zone 60% of the time in game 3. The highest percentage zone that they had ran in a game prior to that was 22%. They have thrown everything they possibly can at this Oklahoma City team through 4 games. And Oklahoma City, who can play 9 deep, who can change the matchups, who can choose who they want to be the shooter in the corner, is able to continue to make adjustments. We saw some of those adjustments in game 4. It really clamp down on the offense of the Nuggets. I think they struggle again. I like their team total on under 104.5. I played their first half team total under 54. I like OKC in the first half -6 as well. This is one of those spots where I think Oklahoma City just has more knobs to turn and can continue to throw new things at Denver. And I think Denver is just out of them. And on top of that, they just look exhausted.
Yeah, how about tomorrow with Knicks, an opportunity to close out this series on the road in Boston? Are you surprised by this number at all? Because my initial thought was, Boston has a lot of talent outside of Tatum. There's guys who can pick up the slack, but really they don't. Drew Holiday's not an offensive weapon anymore. Porzingis is a shell of his former self. I mean, there will be more Peyton Pritchard, but laying 4.5 in this spot, I don't know. It feels like a chance they just lay down and die and walk away. Are you surprised that 4.5 is the number tomorrow?
I'm not surprised. I have this at 4, but that 4 is assuming that Porzingis is healthy, that Brown is playing well, that Holiday is able to score, that you have not just Pritchard, but can't remember his name, Sam Hauser as well, who's in there. Like, you have more than just the Tatum issue. It's Tatum and Hauser both injured. That matters. Both of those matter. I know Tatum obviously matters more, but like Brown doesn't have lift. He can't handle the basketball very well. Porzingis looks awful. Like, I don't even know what we're getting out of him. Look, it feels like you got to play the Knicks here. I haven't bet it yet. I think I'm going to end up betting the Knicks. I agree with you that this is a talented Boston team, but this is a broken Boston team right now. It's just that the injuries have caught up to them, and they're not getting the level of play they need from the secondary and tertiary guys. Even with Tatum in the lineup, that's going to get harder with him out of the lineup. So I do like the Knicks tomorrow, which is a bummer because I've got some Celtics stuff, but I feel a feeling that's all dead now without Tatum in the lineup. Just feel awful for Jason Tatum, by the way. As someone who's torn their Achilles, like, you could just see it on his face that he knew what he did, and he knew the recovery that was the process that was going to start now, and that he's not going to play basketball for another year.
Some, like when Durant, others that have had Achilles, they almost don't know that they did it. And then obviously Tatum was in excruciating pain. What did you experience?
I knew right away that I had popped my Achilles. Like, immediately I knew it just because of following sports. It sounded like someone dropped an iPhone. Like, that was what it sounded like to me. And like, people at midcourt said it sounded like someone blew a bike tire. And it hurts. It hurts like hell. But I will say this, like, the biggest problem I had, the biggest pain in my mind was actually the mental issue of knowing what the next year was going to be like. Like, you cannot walk for 3 months. You're then going to physical therapy for the next 9, and you do not, like, I'm a year and I'm almost 2 years removed. I still think about it when I run at top speed. Like, mentally, I'm still not past that 2 years later. So it's a bear, man. It's not an easy injury to get through.
Yeah, and no offense, Mike, but like you're not an elite athlete who then has to do what Tatum does. So, I mean, you have to question Boston, right, going forward, what they do from here on out, because it's going to affect next year where he probably doesn't play in the regular season. And then who knows what he looks like the year after that. And you're saying 2 years down the road. I mean, you have to imagine the Eastern Conference is going to look totally different next year.
How dare you say I'm not an elite athlete, Dustin? I'm you just got to take shots at me, right? Unbelievable. Look, the East it's crazy, right? Because you also have Dallas, who gets Cooper Flag, right? The number 2 pick is going to the San Antonio Spurs, and it feels like Giannis is live to go to the West. Like all of the talent is moving toward the West and moving away from the East. You take out Giannis, you don't have Flag going there. You take out Tatum. All of a sudden, the East looks completely different. This Boston team is in trouble, man. I mean, that's the short answer, because they have $188 million in money that's already locked into their cap with just their starting 5. The floor next year, I believe, is $201 million to be over that first level. There is no chance they're going to be able to do that unless they get rid of White. They probably have to get rid of Porzingis or Holiday as well. And then you're not going to have Tatum on the floor. It's going to be a very different Boston team next year. And then you've got to hold your breath and hope you get 95, 98% of this Jason Tatum back in 2 years, and you're able to compete for titles again.
Okay, so we mentioned you're going to be hosting not just on Mad Dog Sports Radio, but VSiN, a multitude of shows surrounding the Preakness. Let's do this. Obviously, don't give your plays right now, but let's set the scene for the Mad Dog Sports Radio audience, so on Saturday when they tune in, they kind of have an idea of what to expect, and I'll let you run with that.
Yeah, so Saturday we're going to be on for 2 hours here covering everything that's happened over at Pimlico leading up to the Preakness. We'll have at least 1, possibly 2 races that we'll cover before on the show. Make sure you check out the articles I have up on VSiN.com on Friday and Saturday. I have articles up with picks in both of those days, as well as a Pick 5 article for Saturday as well. So you get tons of picks over there, VSiN.com. Make sure you're subscribed. You can get over there with all your pro content. And then on the actual show, we'll talk through all the different permutations of this, right? What is journalism's price going to be? What should it be? What is a fair price on journalism? What's a fair price on Sandman? What do we expect from this pace? You've got 5 horses that may want to be up in front. How many do we think actually go? What does goal oriented do from the inside? What about, the foreign horses coming in that I think actually may have a little bit of a chance to upset some of these horses in Heart of Honor as well. So we'll talk through all of those different permutations and then give out our superfecta tickets, our win bets, our try bets, whatever we're looking at to play this race or how we are going to play this race, because it is different than the Kentucky Derby, right? We gave out the Derby superfecta. That's a bet I make every single year. I love the Kentucky Derby superfecta. You've got 19 horses. It's a huge field. You're always guaranteed really good payouts. In a field of 9, you are not guaranteed that same level of payout that you are in the Kentucky Derby. So make sure you stick with us on Saturday. We'll go through all the bets for the Preakness once we know the track conditions and who's in and who's out.
Now, we talk about athletes feeling pressure a lot on this show. But, Mike, outside of the actual horse sovereignty, I think you had the second biggest day on the planet during the Kentucky Derby. Do you feel pressure trying to repeat and find us a winner this upcoming Saturday at the Preakness?
I felt more pressure 2 weeks ago, Dustin. It was worse for the Derby lead up, because if I miss the Preakness, it's all good. I hit the Derby, right? Like, you can't be mad at me if I miss the Preakness, because I already came through with the Derby. Look, I do a ton of hits around horse racing. I think I did 18 hits that week leading up to the Kentucky Derby. I was everywhere. So to be right on that day when the mass majority of the general public, which does not pay attention to horse racing, pays attention on that day, that's really the most important one. The rest of it's just gravy now.
Yeah, I'll thank you. And you know who else thanks you? Ashley Home Furniture, because I paid off my furniture because that's how good of a day it was, Mike. So I believe in you. I believe you can do it again.
Yeah, it's free roll at this point. He sent me a ticket to somebody that made like $35,000. Once you start making people all that type of cash, it's just like you're free rolling. On the biggest stage, Samich pulled through amongst a bunch of people squawking all over Twitter and all this kind of stuff. Samich just kind of quietly lays in the weeds and makes you cash. It's a good job by you.
I appreciate that. And I just got to say, like, we always joke, everyone's an expert on Twitter. some of the tweets I read about people in the gambling space that all of a sudden knew horse racing, I could have just ripped to shreds on there. If you're following someone who you're getting picks from on a horse racing side, make sure they tweet about it more than once a year. Just look back. If they haven't tweeted about horse racing,
follow up. Why? No, I'm
because,
just playing.
I mean, it was ridiculous to me. Like, there's some people like, well, this is a speed horse. I'm like, no, they're not. And this horse can't handle the mud. I'm like, yes, they can. Like, just some of the information that was being put out there was ridiculous.
Well, those same people who are experts on horse racing in 2020 were also experts when it came to pandemics.
Yeah. Well, and they're golf experts this week with the PGA coming up. You know, like, it's just ridiculous. It's like, just pick your lane, people, and stay in that lane, and then figure out the rest of it.
Yeah, it's a fun space. Yeah, you're right. And by the way, the golf bettors, it's like, hey, I picked 10 guys. If one hits,
golden, baby. Let's go.
Victory lap. Victory lap.
Do I get credit if I pick 3 horses in the Preakness and one of them wins? Do I get credit for that? Is that
I told you so.
Yeah, I can pick a third of the field too.
Yeah, that's a fun. It's fun. How big is the field going to be?
Looks like we're getting 9 right now. And honestly, like, where we were a week ago, it was chaos, right? It's like, oh, we're not going to get sovereignty. What's this Preakness going to look like? Where we are today is so much better because we've got journalism in here. We've got Sandman in here. You've got Goal Oriented for Bob Baffert. You've got Clever again for Steve Asmussen. River Thames is in here. Was one of the best horses that wasn't in the Derby. This is as good as we could have hoped for from a Preakness field, considering where we were a week ago.
Sandman, the kid that is that owns Sandman, or a part owner of Sandman, he's in social media. He really was impressive. What does he do on social media? I don't even know that.
He's an influencer on TikTok and on YouTube. But his name's Griffin Johnson. He was phenomenal the whole weekend for awesome. The sport. He clearly has his head screwed on right. Horse racing Twitter can be a dark place sometimes, and he went in there and talked to some people about it, and he was making very good points, I thought, and brought a lot of positive exposure to the sport. And I love the fact that he's back at the Preakness for 2 reasons. First, people are going to pay attention. Second, people are going to bet Sandman again, and I'm not going to. So happy that we get another takeout reducer and Sandman being there, and also have a positive light on the sport for once.
Guess how many TikTok followers that kid has? Just throw a number out there.
Isn't it like 3.4 million or something?
9.7 million. That kid's printing money. He posts something, cha-ching, cha-ching, right into the bank account. He's got stupid money. He better stay in horse racing.
He deserves it all. That kid was awesome. That kid's vibe was tremendous. I really enjoyed getting to know him. I just didn't know what he did. I knew it was a social media thing. All right, Samich, ready, set, bet. Weekends 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern time. More importantly, he's got you covered. Nobody's better when it comes to the horses than Samich, and also Aaron Holtzman, RacingDudes.com. So again, coming up this Friday, 2:15 East, 11:15 West, VSiN at the Track, Road to the Preakness on VSiN's YouTube, VSiN Live, and then re-aired on VSiN Proper on Saturday. And then you're going to have a live 2-hour broadcast, simulcast, Mad Dog Sports Radio and VSiN. We'll get the times, and we'll make sure everybody knows before then.
I can confirm it is 6 to 8. So we'll be on from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock Eastern, 3 to 5 Pacific on Saturday for VSiN at the Track, Road to the Preakness. And we'll be covering it right up to the race, which is at 7 o'clock Eastern.
All right. Mike, thank you. Back to the family with your busy schedule. We appreciate you. By the way, SamObama18 on Twitter. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
Okay, there goes Mike Samich. We are underway in the second half. Just get you caught up. We'll come back and talk about the late game in the NBA. Also get you updated on the hockey. But right now, you've got an 8-point lead. Just 58 seconds gone here in the second half. So 60-52, Cavs lead the Pacers. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. Now back to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Okay, baseball fans, catch the round trip roundup for a fast-paced, energetic recap of all the previous night's Major League Baseball action. Big plays, clutch moments, and every score you need to know. All in about 25 minutes. Listen after the games on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89 in the car, or search Round Trip every morning on the SiriusXM app. So as we welcome you back here, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Dustin Swedelson, I'm Patrick Meagher. We've got Naya, we've got Ryan in the mix. We just talked to Samich. We're going to be talking Celtics. I mean, it's a big story, obviously, because of what happened to Tatum. It's terrible for Tatum. Again, my theme is don't detract from what the Knicks are doing, but we're going to talk to Justin Turpin, who covers the Celtics for WEEI, coming up in just a bit. Now, the basketball continues tonight with Game 5 in Cleveland. It was a 4-point game at the break. Cleveland jumped out to a huge lead here, and early, I should say, 15, 17-point lead, somewhere in there. And then Tyrese Halliburton went off in the second. He hit 5 of 5 from 3 in the second and cut the lead to 4 at the break. And right now it's 6, now a 9-point game, as I believe it's Mobley just hit a 3, a big 3 from Mobley. 9:43 to play, 9-point game there. We have an adjusted number in game.
Yeah, and right now it's back to 9.5 on the spread, 3-1 if you want to bet the Pacers, minus 425 on the money line for Cleveland, minus 9.5 is the number there with the spread, and 222.5 is your total. I still like Indiana. I don't at this point in this postseason, I don't trust any team to play with a lead, especially in the second half of these games. We've seen teams melt down, and Indiana's a team that can score in a hurry, and as they get a steal, run in transition. They like to go fast. Because of that, they can score a lot in bunches.
They sure can, and you wonder if some of those injuries catch up to Cleveland as a bucket off the turnover there. So 63-56, a 7-point game, 8:55 to play. All right, so that is that. We do have one coming up here, and we'll get to your calls, 888-MAD-DOG-6, 888-623-3646. We've got, obviously, a game coming up later. I was looking for the money line. I don't even know what that – Oklahoma City's laying 10, 222 on the total. What I would immediately say from looking at this side in total is 222 seems steep, as this has been – offense has been at a both defenses playing great. Oklahoma City's defense is on another level, but Denver's defense has stepped up.
Yeah, but also the gas factor for Denver. Like, how much more do they have in them? They only play 5 guys, essentially, Russ off the bench. And Jokic is not putting up the point totals that he had been previously. If you go through the games in this series, Jokic is starting to fade offensively. He was 0 for 10 a couple games ago from 3. Last game, really bad field goal percentage. I'm trying to find it in my notes, but he's really starting to wear down when it comes to getting buckets for them. And if he's not scoring, they don't have enough help to pick up the slack. That's why 222 does feel like a big number to me as well.
Yeah, it's that first quarter on Sunday, offense be damned. That was about as ugly as it gets. Siakam with a pretty 3. So he has cut the lead to, what is it now, 4-point lead, somewhere in there? 4-point lead, 63-59 with Cleveland going to the free throw line, Garland at the free throw line, and he gets the first. So it's a 4-point lead. So hopefully all you can ask for, the playoffs in the NBA, it seems like it's become, can we just get a game? And then if we get a game, they tend to be thrilling. But there's the polarity there. You either get blowouts or if there's a game, you get into something.
Yeah, this is where you want Halliburton to take over, and he's having a really good game. He's got 17 points as he nails a 3, and that's a big 3. It's now a 2-point game with under 8 minutes to go in the third. I want Halliburton just taking over right now if I'm Indiana. How's that not a foul? I don't know if you see this pick coming up here. Looked like Naismith caught an elbow. And this is a big possession now for Indiana because they can tie it. They just got a board off a Cleveland miss. But I just want Halliburton taking over. This is where he can be dangerous, and he shoots another 3 and misses for the lead. So I love Halliburton. He's had an awesome series. At times, I think he's a little bit too selfless. Wants to get everyone else involved. Wants to be like that traditional point guard that facilitates. But he can go get buckets when you need him.
So the Open, obviously, we talked about, Dallas. We were on the air live when Dallas, with less than a 2% chance, secured the number 1 overall pick. So people were up in arms, obviously. Conspiracy theories being floated around. And then as the game continued and the Knicks started really playing good basketball, Tatum goes down with a gruesome Achilles injury, which is just awful. You hated to see it, as Siakam just hit a big three to take the lead, 65-64 Indiana. Let's get back to the calls, 888-623-3646, and we'll go to Jersey and say hi to our buddy Chris. Hey, Chris.
Yo, Patrick, Dustin, how are you guys?
Good, Chris. Good to hear from you. What's up, man?
Listen, man, I'm going to make a Knicks point real quick, but I am not a Halliburton fan. I'm not taking away his skill, but I hate his smile. I want to see Charles Oakley and Anthony Mason come back from the dead, rest in peace, and knock him to the ground and knock his smile up. He wouldn't score 10 points. That's just my vent for the moment. But listen, I get the media with Tatum. I get it. ESPN loves the Celtics. They love the Sixers. They love all the glossy teams. They don't love the Knicks at all. I mean, when the game ended, Brian Windhorst and Malika Andrews, and Brian Windhorst, this is a dark day over this game.
They were pretending they were going to cry. I mean, listen, I feel bad for the guy, but they were like holding back tears. It's a little
without
much.
a doubt. Sickening. And Malika Andrews, Jason, how about the Knicks beat the Celtics? It's sad for the guy, but it's sports. That's what goes on, and it makes me sick, guys. Listen. I think Dustin, you're the Knicks fan. I gotta put the game on mute. I can't even listen to their voices. Doris Burke, the Knicks hater. Hey, Jefferson's been a little better, and Green's got to play and sip the Kool-Aid. I mean, my God, give me Clyde, man. Give me the guys. I can listen to TNT, but it is so bad. Makes me sick. But guys, have a good night. And
I'm with you.
Close it out.
Chris, I'm with you. Listen.
Well,
I believe the first question Brunson was asked was about Tatum. I'm not trying to disrespect Tatum. That is so disrespectful to Jalen Brunson. And then the whole entire postgame, and I understand you have to do it, but the whole entire postgame being Malika Andrews and Windhorst literally pretended like they were part of the Tatum family. You feel bad for the guy. The Knicks just won one of the biggest games they've won in 30 years. You have to discuss it.
Yeah, look, with them reacting like that, I'm sure it's mostly genuine, but then part of me watches it because I watched the clip. It was mind-blowing. It felt like we have to act this way if we're going to continue to get access to players the way we want to. Doesn't it feel like there's a game being played? Like you have to be. Oh no,
you're doing the journalism thing again.
I might be.
I don't know. I'm just going to say I don't know. I'm out on this one. I
don't know.
I thought it was just melodramatic. To be honest with you, I thought it was just I thought it was look at me, I'm sad.
Yeah. It's overselling it. It feels like an oversell. It's horrible. It stinks. The guy got hurt. But the New York Knicks were beating that ass, and it was happening either way, with or without Tatum in the final couple minutes there. And the New York Knicks are a team that we're told the NBA is better when the Knicks are good. Well, the Knicks are good. Maybe talk about it more.
I have no clue what other shows talked about today. I swear to God. My guess is it was the same. Tatum. And I prefaced everything I said. You feel horrible for the human. Sorry, the story is the Knicks.
Yeah, the story is the Knicks because now they're in the driver's seat. Yet somehow they're the dog next game. Look, we'll talk to Justin Turpin, who covers the team at the top of the hour. I think there's an aspect where the Knicks just blow them out and advance tomorrow. I really think that there's a chance that happens because I think this team is totally deflated based on what we just talked about. All anyone can talk about is Tatum and the injury and what it means.
Here's our buddy Tony down in Dallas. Tony I think he might have been in Chicago getting that number 1 pick. No, Tony?
I got to tell you, I was telling the screener, it was such a franchise-altering 360 of what happened last night. And I really a lot of fans here don't really understand how it happened, the whole coin flip, and all of a sudden they're saying, well, Dallas moves from 11 into the top 4. But if you look at it, I know you guys have been paying attention, the rumors in this town that the owners really wanted to move the team to Vegas, well, that wasn't going to be true. They are building a whole new sports complex where old Texas Stadium was, and they do plan to eventually put a casino somewhere there. That's a fact. But, the whole deal with let's see what we can get to literally this town that I think you would agree, Patty, that this is a basketball town, probably
Tremendous, but Dallas a great basketball. It's tremendous basketball.
To get 2 number 1 picks in both WNBA and the NBA in one basketball calendar year, to sell an iconic, everybody, loved in Luka. And now you have people in town saying, no, I would not trade Cooper Flag for Luka. I wouldn't do it. So it's amazing to me on how that can happen. And I get it. Look, you obviously have followed the NBA. LeBron going to Cleveland, that was rigged. Magic Johnson go to the Lakers. Patrick Ewing going to New York. You could list how, a lot of, the past number 1 picks have maybe been rigged. But when they changed the rules in 17, that was anti-tanking. And if you think about it, name a tanking team that actually got the number 1 pick. I can't name one in the last, consistently in the last couple of years, right? So, look, I don't know obviously we don't know what that kind of player, what Cooper Flag is going to be. Is he baby Tatum? Is he going to be, somebody else from Duke that really didn't pan out? Is he going to be Grant Hill? Is he going to be? I don't know, but man, that was a huge 360 for this franchise.
It was, Tony. We'll come back and discuss what Cooper Flag's prospects are. Go ahead.
And I have the percentages of the number 1 pick each year of what their odds were to get it.
All right. We'll return. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. Welcome back to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Okay, it's been about 7 minutes and Cleveland hasn't scored. It's a 17-2 run for the Pacers. They're up 6. They're up 8. 3:14 to play. Timeout, Cleveland. Look, there is no flexing. We told you yesterday the Knicks plus $2 was insanity. I told you tonight the Pacers plus 280. I'm not even going to flex if I win this. I'm just saying, think about the numbers. That's all. That is crazy that you can bet $100 and win $280 on the better team. And that's what we came into tonight with. 8.5 spread. Screw the spread. You're up 8 right now. Mitchell just went to the locker room. Oh, you didn't know Mitchell was going to go to the locker room? He was a game-time decision. It's damaged cargo. Why would you ever lay 8.5 with a team that's not as good as the other? That's where they're at right now with Cleveland and Indiana.
Yeah, and the rest of the supporting cast is banged up for the Cavs. So you know they're going to fade down the stretch, and they don't have their go-to scorer. Who do they turn to? Garland's still dealing with a toe. Hunter missed a game. And all postseason long, teams have been blowing second-half leads. It's all we've seen is these teams, no lead is safe. And Indiana's a team that scores in bunches, and they're doing that right now. They're running in transition, and Cleveland shots, because they're tired, are coming up short over and over again. And now they're starting to get sloppy with the basketball. It's a bad recipe for the Cavs. You could still lay 4.5 with Indiana right now, or minus 210 on the money line, and that total has dropped down to 212.5.
Well, I say this, like, Mitchell went out. He looked like he twisted his ankle, and he's left the court and went back into the locker room. Without Mitchell, the offense is just, they look like a chicken with their head cut off. They just can't.
Well, he's the alpha.
Which way, they don't know which way is up. I don't think their offense flows that much anyway. They haven't scored in 6.5 minutes. Mitchell is back on the bench, so we'll see if he returns for the Cavs here. And again, Indiana may still lose this game. I'm not saying they're going to win. They're up 8 as Garland just misses another bucket. They're up 8, 2:59 to play, Indiana is. And they may very well lose this. But I'm just talking from a betting perspective. You see that number, and you just have to think of it as lunacy. That's that. So when we come back, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Boston. We felt like it was necessary to do so just because the Tatum story is so big. Now, does it overshadow what the Knicks are doing? It shouldn't. And the broadcast should be a little bit more, I don't know if you want to call it fair, because it's not fair what happened to Tatum, but you do have another basketball team, a historic team in the Knicks that just picked up one of their biggest wins in 25 years. Can we cover it? That's what it comes down to. Can we cover it? Cleveland finally gets a bucket. It's a 3, so it is a 7-point lead for the Pacers. When we return, we are going to be discussing the Celtics with, as my computer loads here. Who is it?
Justin Turpin, W-E-E-I.
Our buddy Justin Turpin, W-E-E-I. Next here, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Okay, we were talking to Samich earlier about the Preakness, Preakness picks, and everything is up over at VSiN.com. But you have to be a pro, so go to VSiN.com/subscribe. $19 get you everything through August 1st. Picks every single day, the splits, everything we offer. VSiN.com/subscribe. Ty Jerome just got a big 3 because it was a 12-point game. It kind of lit up the arena a little bit there in Cleveland. So Jerome with the 3 to cut it to 9. Mitchell is back on the court. He did go back to the locker room, but he is back. And it's a 9-point game, 1:06 to play in the third. Indiana leads. We'll keep you updated there as we do welcome you back here on VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Okay, so obviously the big news last night, the Knicks beat the Celtics. I don't know if people recognize it, but also, unfortunately, Jason Tatum goes down with an Achilles. You feel horrible for the person and the human being, but it did seem to overshadow the fact that the Knicks do take a 3-1 series lead here. To discuss that, Justin Turpin is going to join us. He's been busy, so we appreciate a few minutes. WEEI Celtics beat reporter at Justin M. Turpin on Twitter. I believe you were at MSG yesterday. Boston can be a tough sports town, one of the toughest around. What was the reaction in Boston to Tatum's injury today?
Panic. And there was plenty of that this week already. When the Celtics went down 0-2, we had plenty of panic here. And now even more so because, the good thing about Boston sports and the city is people understand these sports. They understand what's going on, and they understand that this Jason Tatum injury is more about what's in the future than it is this series. They were going to lose that game whether or not he finished it healthy. It's the end of that game and what that means for the Celtics' future that has people really concerned.
Yeah, you go through the minutes, and the Celtics have technically outplayed the Knicks. But when it matters the most, the Knicks have figured things out. So I guess before we talk about Tatum there, Boston is favored coming up here tomorrow. They're laying 4.5 points. Do you believe this squad is resilient where they bounce back here and Joe Mazzulla and Brad Stevens draw something up to make up for Tatum? Or do you think this is a spot where they kind of just lay down, losing their number one guy?
I could really see this going either way, which is something I wouldn't expect to say about the Celtics team because they take it to an extreme to really focus on the mental side of the game and having the right mindset day in and day out. Joe Mazzulla literally wears a sweatshirt around the facility that says mindset. Like, that's how serious they are. It's been their calling card. It's just kind of what they prided themselves on. So I have a hard time believing that they are just going to roll over and just roll the balls out and just take it on the chin and head into the offseason. We'll deal with everything later. I find it hard to believe that. But then again, they were really shaken up last night. There was a real sense of emptiness and sorrow. It was a tough feel, like, being around there last night. Like, they all understand what's going on. When this team was put together, it was with the purpose of being a short term, let's go out and get a championship, compete for another, and see what we can do. Like, the goal was to win championships. And they understood when they were put together that there was an expiration date on this group. And now with Jason Tatum going down, that expiration date is only kind of moved forward. So they understand that. And I think there was some nerves of that. So maybe they want to go out, and I know for sure it's not even maybe that they want to go out with some pride. And this team honestly deserves to go out better than that because of what they did last year, what they did this year. It's by the numbers. I mean, regular season numbers, what they did in the postseason. It's one of the most dominant squads ever assembled. If you look at it, top 5 in point differential last year, 16-3 in the postseason, ended up winning a championship. Like, they deserve to go out with more nobility, I guess. And I think they are going to fight for that and could make it interesting. But then again, man, just how deflated it was last night and just the mood in that locker room. And I know it's after a really kind of a traumatic thing for the team, but I mean, I could see this going either way, to be honest.
And Justin Turpin was in the locker room. So let's talk about that. Melancholy, not just because of the loss, but the loss of their best player, and I'm sure their friend. We don't know much about the leadership as far as the team. Is Tatum the unquestioned leader on that team?
I think he's an emotional leader. The thing is with this team is there's not really one leader. They don't have a named captain. They haven't had a captain in almost a decade now. I think Jaylen Brown assumes the role, and he's mainly their vocal leader, but they don't necessarily have one leader. I think everyone kind of plays a part in it, especially of the top three, the core three that's been there for years now: Al Horford, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum. I think those are the guys that they really respond to in a leadership sense. And, you can tell, like, Jason Tatum, when they're on the court, he's their calming presence. They're a better team with him on the court. They all understand that. They know that they feed off him. Like, that's how their offense works. And he does a great job defensively as well. So I think he's more of an emotional leader because you guys know, like, it's been one of the criticisms on Tatum for years now. It's how he's not vocal. He's not getting in people's faces. He's not screaming. He's not hyping up his guys. And that's just how he is. He's a reserved and he's a quiet guy. But just from an emotional standpoint and what he brings to that team, and I think Al Horford's a similar way. So I think to answer that, Jalen would be their vocal leader, and Jason, I mean, from an emotional standpoint, they're really going to miss him because they just seem more calm with him on the floor. And I think they understand just how smart and how good of a player he is that, that was missing at times this year when he was out and was missing in the final minutes last night.
Okay, well, that's the emotional side of things, the leadership side of things. Who picks up the slack playing wise? Because Drew Holiday's offensive game has disappeared. Porzingis, it's kind of sad. We obviously don't know all the details of what's going on with his illness, but who picks up the slack with him gone? Jaylen Brown can only do so much here, Justin. What do you expect them to look like?
Well, that's the problem. Like, Jaylen Brown can only do so much because he's obviously been dealing with the knee injury the last couple months. We don't know what's going on with Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, he's been hovering around the 20-minute mark. He looked better last night, but still was getting out-rebounded by Deuce McBride at one point, and that shouldn't be happening. That's a guard over a 7'3" center. You can't have that. You mentioned Drew Holiday. He's 34 years old. He has a hamstring injury, and that kind of plays into why I also can see them kind of maybe going out on a bad note tomorrow, just because they don't have enough. They don't have enough. Like, just looking at the guys that need to step up. Sam Hauser's another example. He's missed the last couple games, and he'd be the guy that would start in the scenario. And I mean, he's probable for tomorrow, but are they going to throw him into a playoff game after missing the last two, and a guy that really hasn't played a ton this postseason, throw him in as a starter and expect him to give them big minutes? I don't know, especially if that ankle's not ready to go. So they played, obviously, they had a bunch of guys go to the Olympics. They played the Abu Dhabi in the preseason. They went to Abu Dhabi, which they kind of never recovered from. It took them a while for them to recover from that trip earlier in the year. They were lethargic for a while off that. And I think just the weight of coming off a championship, we've seen it 6 years in a row, a different champion. 5 of the last 6, they haven't made it out of the second round. And I think the Celtics felt the weight of that, and they were well aware of it. They understood the history. They knew that they were trying to break the streak of 5 consecutive champs, not getting out of the second round. It was a challenge they wanted to take on, and they just ran out of gas. And unfortunately, in games 1 and 2, I think it was more of an issue of not making shots, easy shots they should have made. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see who picks it up. I would assume Jalen. Derek White's another one that you can count on, but they're really limited on options just because of where they're at health wise.
Outside of the variance of a 3-pointer, what have they said in the locker room about giving up these huge leads?
It really has been just weather the storm. I mean, that's really what it is. And it's to their detriment at sometimes. Like, they believe in their way. And I guess they've earned the benefit of the doubt in that sense, where it's gotten them 2 60-win seasons. It got an NBA title last year. They're kind of stuck in their way. And they just believe that if it's open shots there, take it. That's their philosophy. It really, I think a lot of people think it's strictly 3-pointers, but it's whatever the open shot is. And when they're not getting downhill, they're not driving. They're trying to get drive and kick threes. A lot of times it doesn't work. And I think they're just going to stick with their game plan. So they haven't really, there was always a sense of confidence, honestly. When they went down 0-2, they were looking at those fourth quarter shots, and I know it's not to be taken for gospel, but the NBA tracking data had them at 96 out of the 100 they took were open or wide open. Like, they were getting great looks that you'd expect NBA players, especially a team that set an NBA record for most made 3-pointers, you'd expect them to knock them down. And I think they were looking at those numbers because they're a very analytical team. I mean, that probably doesn't surprise you about Joe Mazzulla. He's a very analytical guy. So they're looking at the expected data. They're looking at the shot quality. Like, those are the things they're looking at. And so that's what they're referencing in these press conferences. We're asking Joe Mazzulla, he's like, well, the expected was this, the shot quality was this. Well, it wasn't resulting in makes or anything. So that was kind of the problem, where we're like, all right, that's great. The expected numbers are great, but like, it doesn't do anything for you. Like, right? You're gonna try to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, if you're missing the shots, it doesn't matter in the end. Maybe
Right.
try something different. Help our audience and us understand Mazzulla a little bit. What's he like to deal with? Because, look, he gives you a funny soundbite. He doesn't want to play ball. He wants to be all about ball at times. What's Mazzulla like, and what have you learned about him as a coach so far?
Yeah, I actually do think he's one of the better coaches in the league. I truly do think that. And I think he's a versatile coach, like what he does. I think he can coach both sides of the ball. He gets a lot of credit for his offense just because, I mean, they were the most efficient offense in NBA history last year, but they've also been a top 5 defense every year that Joe Mazzulla's been here. So they've been really good defensively as well. I think he's a great coach. And if you were to tell me his first year that he was going to be the most interesting guy on the Celtics, I would have laughed at you. I would have like, that guy's going to be the most interesting guy because like he was so shy and timid. And then you could tell from his first day last year, his second year as the head coach, his first full season, you could tell he was just more confident. He was more comfortable in his own skin. And ever since then, it obviously helps when he's winning. And we talk about it sometimes. Some of the other reporters were like, is he taking some stuff from Belichick or is he taking some stuff from other coaches that were like, kind of, we're not going to give you anything, like, especially with the injury stuff. Like, he won't give you anything with injuries. We have to like poke him and he still won't do it. So he's fun because he keeps you on your toes. He's a great coach and you really just never know what to expect with him.
All right, last one. You mentioned the future, the questions, because Tatum's going to be out for next year as well. What are the questions about the Celtics moving forward?
I mean, the big one is that $500 million bill that's coming for the roster. You're looking at 280 in luxury taxes. That's a lot of money, and it's a new ownership group taking over. And I think the conception was, and the belief was that if they were to win another one, the ownership group wouldn't come in and just blow it up. And Bill Chisholm, the new owner, has been very vocal about his fandom. Like he used to send his kids and his wife last year during the playoffs. He'd send them videos of him getting hyped up, singing songs right before these playoff games. Like he is a fan, and he really takes pride in that. But now when you're looking at it and you're paying a unprecedentedly high number in taxes and to keep this roster together, it's the first $500 million roster in the league. So you're looking at $500 million. It's hard to justify paying that money when you're not going to have your best player on the floor. And again, like they understood this coming in, that when they put this squad together, it was not built to last. That's just the nature of the new CBA, unfortunately. And it has to do with the luxury taxes. It also has to do with the basketball penalties down the stretch when you start having picks frozen and you're really restricted in what you can do in terms of adding to your rosters. So you just can't live in the second apron, and the Celtics understood that. And now I thought personally, I think the belief widely was that they were going to do it in increments. They were going to just kind of phase out slowly out of the second apron. But now if you're looking at next year without Jason Tatum, you're like, all right, is there really an incentive to do it in increments, or should we just do this now, load up, and let's get ready for when Jason's back, and let's just have the squad ready to go then?
Big decisions to be made in a game tomorrow. Justin, I know you're busy, so thank you for a few minutes. WEEI Celtics beat reporter at Justin M. Turpin on Twitter. Thank you, Justin. Have a good night.
Anytime, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. DeAndre Hunter hit a three and was fouled, and now we have a 1-point game. So it was a 12-point game just a blink ago. That's right. I mean, listen, like I said, Cleveland could very much come back and win this game. It's a timeout with 9:24 to play. A 1-point lead, 87-86 for the Pacers right now.
Yeah, look, they figured some things out. Mitchell's been banged up. Garland's done a little bit more here in the second half. You mentioned the Hunter three. When we return, I think there was a foul on the last play. I think we're going to have free throws coming up here with it being a 1-point game. But they're getting all sorts of contributions outside of Mitchell now since he went down. Ty Jerome has stepped up. He's been atrocious. He now has 8 points in the game. He's a guy they needed to get something from if they were going to win tonight. He's their number one guy off the bench, and getting him in the second half to score some points has been massive here.
Yeah, certainly. So we do have one more to go, and again, it's a big number coming up in, well, they're saying 15 minutes to tip. That's not going to happen.
No.
The Nuggets at the Thunder, series tied up at 2s. Oklahoma City's laying around 10-ish. So we'll get our picks in before that game starts. That game's not going to start for a while. 888 Mad Dog 6, 888-623-3646. So we transition from the Celtics. Again, you feel bad for Tatum. And even during that conversation, it's like, I can never really get a read on Tatum. It's like Brown is the vocal leader. You don't really ever hear Jaylen Brown talking. He said Joe Mazzulla is the most interesting guy on the team. Mazzulla gives you nothing. And so that kind of says more about what Tatum means to everything. Tatum, there's not a high bar to set for energy and leadership, but he is by far their best player. So I'm not disrespecting the kid.
No, there's a reason why when the game ends, all those reporters immediately go to 37-year-old Al Horford for a quote. He's the guy they want to talk to, and he's the one you think about the least in that lineup.
Yeah, he's not a quote machine either. We've been also talking about the draft, of course, last night. The Dallas Mavericks land the number 1 overall pick, and today the conspiracy theories have been flying. Let's see if our buddy Bill and Chevy Chase is a conspiracy theorist. Hi, Bill.
Patrick, hi, Dustin. No, I am not. And the funny thing was, I called Beetle and Decker yesterday and made the point before the lottery that if San Antonio ends up getting the first pick, you'd have to go back to the Ewing days to find as big an alleged conspiracy as you would have gotten. So I wasn't anticipating Dallas, and so they get it, and here come the conspiracy theories. No, I don't buy it at all. I just don't. I do want to ask you a couple of things on the draft, though. First of all, do you guys know what is the technology they use to actually draw the results? I mean, do they still use the ping pong balls and the thing?
No, they literally still use the ping pong balls that suck up into the thing. I've known a reporter that was back when they said it's a laborious, boring process because it takes forever, but it's literally ping pong balls popping up in the popper.
And I believe Ernst & Young handles it for the NBA, so it's a third party, I believe, handling it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it probably is. And, the point you were making about I always get into this argument with Tom Byrne about advanced analytics and stuff, and he just naturally assumes because I'm older, whenever I offer any criticism, it's sort of just like, well, it's just because you're old, and it's not. And I don't think that way. I don't feel that way. But I do struggle with some of these, and I admit I don't understand them. These expected data things. Where does that come from? Who expects? Expects what? I mean, I just have a hard time kind of conceptualizing what the validity of this is because somebody says, well, this is what we expect should have happened. Who cares? Anyway, that's
it's goofy. No, I'll give you an example. It's goofy because I can relate it to soccer. There's expected goals. So if you're a soccer bettor, you can be tracking it on one of the apps, and sophisticated apps will give you expected goals. And so if you're an in-game bettor, you can look and say, all right, so Dallas has an expected goals of 2.2, and it's 0-0 right now. In Minnesota, I'll just take MLS, has an expected goals of 0.5. So then people, because expected, will go in and bet Dallas. Expected is built on possession, pace, shot quality, shot attempts, and then they just come up in the algorithm given all those factors, what should be the score. Really, it's nebulous. So I wouldn't really pay a ton of attention to it.
Yeah, like in college, I would go out, I'd be wearing an Affliction t-shirt, bootcut jeans, Jordan 11s. My expected chances of getting laid that night felt like 98%, but it never happened.
Yeah, maybe a little less than 98, but I understand your point. You're feeling fly, looking good. 1 point game, Indiana, now a 3-point game. That should have been a foul. That should have been an and one. 91-88, 8:36 to play. The momentum is very much on the Cleveland side at home here. So we'll see Indiana if they can hold on. Garland with a 3, and that is going to be out, stuck on top of the backboard, so it's going to be Indiana ball. We'll see if Indiana can calm down a little bit here. That's really what it's going to take because they were up 12. They've now got punched in the mouth. They haven't trailed for a long time. They keep on getting buckets when they need them, and they're up 3 with the ball. Let's see if they can just settle in a little bit. That's what I would say.
Yeah, they're launching a lot of long threes, and they're missing them right now. Mitchell's coming back into the game, so that should change everything for the offense because they kind of don't run their full offense without him. They settle for the bad shots. They don't work the clock. The ball movement's not as good. At least with Mitchell, he makes things happen. Indiana converges, and he can kick it out. But on the other side, Halliburton's hit a couple really nice shots here in the fourth quarter. A great take to the rack a couple minutes ago to give them the lead. He's looked awesome so far.
Well, you mentioned Halliburton. It's 91-88. And I do know something big for Indiana is about to happen here because I peeked at my app, and it is a 3-pointer from the corner, which is good. So I didn't see who it was.
Nemhart, I believe.
Nemhart with a 3 to stretch it to 6. So, like I said, can Indiana settle down? That's really they have the talent to beat this team on the road and close out this series. Can they settle down? And we'll see if they can here as Cleveland's going to get a bucket on the drive from Mobley. So it's a 4-point game, 7:38 to play. When we return, by the way, the Jets and Stars are tied up at 1 with 12:33 to go in the second. We also have another game yet to tip, that being, of course, Oklahoma City hosting the Denver Nuggets. 10-222 on the total. We've got Bill Belichick's sound coming back. It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. Now back to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Donovan Mitchell is going insane. He just hit another three to cut it to 1, but that is their offense. Like, they don't do anything except just ISO with Mitchell, to be honest with you. He just keeps on draining threes, and there is, I believe it was Nembhard with an answer. So, look, Indiana right now, it's 101-97, 4:38 to play. Indiana, it's been cut to 1 like 5 different times over the past 3 minutes, and Indiana has answered. But it's momentum right now, Cleveland. And here's Ty Jerome, who gets blocked. I don't know why he's taking a shot there. I just talked about the fact that it just pretty much only bet. And there is Tyrese Halliburton to the bucket in an and one. What a play. You were bringing it up earlier. I don't really know. I know he was voted by the players most overrated player in the NBA. We had our buddy Chris in Jersey, I believe it was called, and said he can't stand Halliburton. I think Halliburton's a tremendous player. I've never thought about Halliburton. Halliburton, by the way, had the block on Jerome, came back the other way, got the tough layup and the and one. So I don't really understand the Halliburton hate, to be honest. Maybe it's his dad.
Maybe. Did you see what he did, though, before he got fouled on that shot? He actually turned his head in the air with the ball to see if someone was open to kick it, opted to go up with the layup, got fouled, and one, hits the free throw. It's 104-97 with 4 minutes to go. He's got 28, 8, and 5 Halliburton on the day. An awesome performance by him in a big spot. I really like him. I think he's a really, really nice player, and he might be taking that next step here in this postseason.
Here is a turnover on the Cavs. I didn't see, maybe the gentleman in the corner, I didn't see who it was stepping out of bounds, but we now have a 7-point game. So 104-97. Indiana has weathered the storm. That doesn't, the momentum is squarely with the Cavs. The Cavs are very much in this with 4 minutes to go. Let's see what they're made of. Everybody's talking about them being underrated. This would be an opportunity for them. Put them away. You can close out the series and get some rest. Get plenty of rest. You can put them away right now. You're healthy. They're not. It's Mitchell versus you. Can you beat them? And a terrible play by Siakam, who got the ball back to the corner. Oh, they had such an opportunity with a wide open 3 from Naismith, and he missed it. So that would have stretched it. And here's a 3 the other way, which was missed. Rebound, Indiana. So we're going up and down, people. This is very exciting basketball with Halliburton on the perimeter. And he's going to settle it down a little bit. 3:17, good. Kill that clock a little bit.
Ooh.
You're fine. Don't tell. You're ahead of me, so every reaction.
I'm trying not to. It's bad though.
Halliburton with a bad miss. Okay, so 3 minutes to go. 7-point lead. Pacers. Again, the offense for the Cavaliers seems to be Mitchell walks it up. He throws it to somebody. They throw it back to him. He waits for a screen and tries to decide what to do, and he's injured as well. So that is the offense right now. Out to Strus with a missed 3. Outside of Mitchell, nobody can do anything.
Hold on. I got to pull up. I'm only monitoring it because I bet on Strus over 21.5 PRA. Max Strus is 0 for 8 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3 today. He has been horrific in a big spot where they desperately need someone to step up alongside Mitchell right now. Someone's got to help him because Mitchell's got nothing left in the tank.
He is dead tired. Mitchell is playing brilliant. Mitchell and Halliburton are brilliant tonight, is all I can tell you. Let me just take a look. Halliburton, 29, 8 assists and 5 rebounds, as you mentioned. And then on the other side, Mitchell has 29, 9 boards, 1 assist. I mean, he's not shooting. He's 6 of 21 from the field, but he is literally the only thing. Mobley's played well. He's got 22. But Mitchell, this is the issue. When you talk about regular season and postseason, listen, the game's called much differently, officiated much differently in the postseason. We understand it's played differently, but Cleveland is being exposed. I don't care about the injuries. They're being exposed because Atkinson's being exposed as well because when it matters, they just don't have an offense.
Yeah, but I think that goes exactly into the regular season versus
Cleveland's got
postseason
9 assists.
Yeah.
9 assists.
Because you said it. The offense is just Mitchell comes up court and tries to create something. That's the offense. But to go with what you're saying about regular season, postseason, and we're seeing it to a degree with Oklahoma City in crunch time where they do look a little lost. When you care so much about the regular season, you're in these games where you're facing teams that don't care as much, and there are no final 2-minute crunch time moments for you to figure out what you're like. They don't know what their identity like is when they're tested in the fourth quarter of games like this because the regular season looks nothing like what we're seeing in the fourth quarter of playoff games. And that's what's happening to Cleveland.
Yeah, you look at the assists to see if they're moving the ball, and they've got 9. Excuse me.
That's a crazy number.
Well, compare it to Indiana. Indiana's 25 assists to Cleveland's 9.
Yeah, Halliburton's got 8 by himself.
Really, really incredible here, this game, because also 41% from 3 for the Pacers, 23%. Cleveland's lucky. That's what I would say. Cleveland's lucky to be down, 7 points with 2:38 to go. It is going to be Indiana's ball. Just being completely forthright, and Dustin knows if I say I went heavy, I went heavy. Heavy, straight money line Pacers.
Yeah,
So
I love that.
If I've been dialed in, I've been doing play-by-play. It's strictly because I'm being selfish because I bet a lot.
I did notice you were pretty into it, so that would track for you and your history. But I want to give you credit here and also betting advice. When you have a feeling like Patrick has and you go money line plus 280 and now your team is up and you can catch 6.5 with the other team in Cleveland, or you can get 11-1 on a hedge-in game, you can completely guarantee you're up at the end of the day right now. No, I know you're not going to do that because you're going to let it ride because you believe in your gut instinct, and your gut instinct is right. If it was earlier in the game, I think that's a strategy that I like to use when I bet on a dog and it flips and now the team that was favored is now the dog. I do like to come back a little bit and guarantee a profit.
Yeah, no, I don't hate the strategy, but you just understand the concept of the number. It's like the unknowns for Cleveland are insane. Cleveland was down 41 at the break the last time we saw them. Why would they be laying 8.5 and almost $3 on it's just nonsensical.
8.5 was a crazy. You know what 8.5 felt like? 8.5 felt like a regular season number where Cleveland got smoked last game, whoever they were playing, and you think they're going to come back and be dialed in the next game. In the playoffs, there's a reason why they got smoked. They're not right, and they're not healthy. Garland's not healthy. Garland has not looked like himself. The toe is clearly bothering him. And if Garland's not going to be able to add offense alongside Mitchell, that changes everything because you don't get the offense you normally get from guys like Mobley and Allen if Garland's not going.
Miles Turner hit 2 free throws, so we have a 9-point game, 2:28 to play. Mitchell with a long 3. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he's crazy. Dude, he's a stud. He is carrying this organization on his back right now because he has no help.
He just took a rainbow. I mean, I'm talking 2 defenders on him, an absolute rainbow, just nothing but net. He's fantastic. Mitchell is showing out
going
here. Siakam with a bad turnaround miss. So 2 minutes to play, 6-point game, 106-100 Indiana. And here comes Mitchell downhill. He's doubled. He doesn't know what to do with the ball because and he just got fouled on a 3-point attempt.
Yeah, it was a genius play by him.
He just got fouled. So Indiana, it's a $149 to play. Mitchell's going to go and shoot. Indiana needs to drain this clock. When they get this ball back, they're going to be down 3, and there's $1.49 to play. They need to drain it, call a timeout. They got a great head coach. Set up a play, and let's stretch out the 3-point lead. That's my assumption that Mitchell makes these 3. He's got 32 points and 9 boards. The first is up, and I'm assuming it's going to be good. It's off. So that is a huge miss.
Yeah,
Just an absolutely mammoth miss on the first of 3.
Before the miss, the number had dropped to plus 650 on the Cavs. It's back up to 9-1 on the money line.
Yeah, the one miss is massive because it would have been a 1-possession game if he hits these final 2 here of the 3. And Mitchell is just playing. He missed the second. This is now, listen, he's tired. Front rimmed it. He is doing everything he can possibly do. You can't say anything about Mitchell. It's a 6-point game with 1 more free throw, $1.49. If Indiana pushes this ball, I am slamming this iPad into the ground. They need to chill, walk it. He missed all 3. Mitchell is dead. He's just gassed.
He's got nothing left, dude.
And they're walking it up, and they're going to call a timeout. They're draining the clock. Thank you. They call me Naismith. Did he get fouled? Why did Halliburton drive to the bucket out of nowhere?
I don't know. They've done that the last few possessions.
Mitchell just hit a 3.
Yeah,
Halliburton,
game.
that is an unbelievably bad play. And you got to kill Carlisle. Rick, you have to call a timeout there. What are you doing?
Okay, the clock is the biggest thing. Why are you forcing things?
Carlisle, you seriously settle your team down. You're just up 6. Mitchell had just missed 3 free throws, and here's a tough. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's massive for you.
Nembhard with somebody draped all over him, just hit a bank, and they called a foul. I didn't see a foul on Garland here. If I'm being complete, his arms are straight up.
There's some
I guess
contact.
he hit him in the elbow,
Yeah.
mostly created by Nembhard. I'm not complaining.
yeah.
Garland had good defense. That is, you know what? That could be the ball game. It is if he hits this free throw and they don't lose their minds. 1:07 to go, 5-point game. Nembhard going for the and one here. Look, we know what the play is coming back the other way. It's going to be a Mitchell 3. Crash on Mitchell and let anybody else shoot a wide open shot.
Yeah. By the way, right now, +6.5 is the number on Cleveland. Indiana's laying it 15-1 on the Cavs if you think they can make a comeback with under a minute to go.
Mitchell drive to the basket and missed it. So if there's an intentional foul, so they're gonna win the game. The Pacers, if they hit their free throws up 6 with 55 seconds to go, are going to win this game. So the Pacers are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. And the reason it's important here is because they are going to have rest.
Yeah.
Well,
because now
at least a day extra.
But the Celtics.
Listen, the Celtics are favored.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Celtics are favored. They could win tomorrow. That series goes another day. Indiana's just chilling, waiting for the Knicks. Also, remember, I know the Knicks were banged up. I know they dealt with a lot of injuries, but that's an Indiana team that was in the Eastern Conference Finals a year ago that took out the Knicks. So they believe they can beat them. They believe they're better this year than they were a year ago. So the Knicks need to take – the pressure is on the Knicks to make sure that series ends tomorrow and doesn't go another couple days.
No fouls here, 50 seconds. Up, 8. Garland was afraid to take a 3. A putback bucket. What are we calling here?
I think it's an and one.
Okay, they're gonna give Mobley an and one, which I didn't love. It was just a putback.
I don't see a foul in that play
I didn't
at
see
all.
a foul in real time. I'm seeing the replay right now. I don't understand what they're calling there. That okay. As a Pacers backer, I really don't love that. Mobley does miss his free throw. The game's over.
Yeah.
The game's
they just
over.
need to run this clock out.
So the Pacers are going to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's a tremendous job by them. Yes, give the ball to Halliburton and chill. I don't think Cleveland's following.
It's over.
Wow, Cleveland waving the white flag. Interesting.
It's over.
Why did they just wave the white flag?
Watch what happens here.
As Miles Turner hits a 3?
Yeah, it's over. 114-105, 23 seconds to go.
Oh, Halliburton's waving goodbye to the crowd. Why did Cleveland wave the white flag?
I don't. It's a 6-point game with like 40
home?
seconds to go. Why wouldn't you? It's an elimination. Why not just keep fouling until they win by 20? Who the hell cares at that point?
That was weird.
Yeah, I've not in a playoff game. That was not what I expected to see. Hey, great call by you. That's another. You had a twinkle in your eye when you were talking about it where you're like, I'm not going points. I'm going money line at the start of the show. I hadn't seen that twinkle since like 2017 when Yusuf Nurkic went on a run where he went over his rebounding prop for like a month straight. And I think you paid your rent for like half the year from it. So credit to you. But I hadn't seen that twinkle in a long time.
But I said it when I gave the bet. I can't take credit for it. I just thought it was stupid. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you look at the number, when I woke up, I only looked at the number this morning. So I'm not like the hardcore guy that's grinding last night. Sorry.
CLV.
I woke up and looked at it this morning, and it's like 280, and I'm like, shouldn't that be closer to 2? I don't know. Are they that much better, the Cavaliers and the Pacers?
To go with that, the spread was 8.5. 8.5 felt like an insane number. 8.5 felt like you knew all the Cavaliers were 100% healthy and going to show up and not play like they've played the entire series. It was a lot of variables at place that were just extremely unknown. That's why the Pacers were always the play tonight.
They Atkinson Coach of the Year, Mobley Defensive Player of the Year, highest scoring team in the regular season, and they just lost in 5 and lost on their home court.
Regular season does not matter. It just doesn't matter.
Well, at least it's 82 games.
yeah, thank God. Thank God. They don't drag it out. They got it starts during football when no one's paying attention.
That's it. The Pacers advance. Wow. How about that? How about the Pacers? The Pacers, you were talking about, it's like, are they underrated? You know what? They're underrated because they play in Indiana. But we've known this roster for a couple of years. Halliburton has taken a step forward. And I think he's taken a step forward in this postseason. You know what I mean? Like
I think
how many game winners does he have?
No, but he's also just come up big. He doesn't look scared of the moment. He does look like he's becoming a superstar. And in fairness to him, we saw it during that play-in tournament a couple years ago, but he hasn't been able to really recapture it. He looks ultra confident. The team's feeding off him. I think the Pacers are so freaking underrated. And I think when we look at the roster construction, I just think you got to give a lot of credit to the front office there because it's not a destination. It's not a place that Giannis is saying, I want to go to. Giannis is saying, I want to go to Miami, I want to go to New York, I want to go to LA. That's where the NBA players want to go. So in order to win in Indiana, you have to build the roster a certain way. They go out and they trade for Siakam. They draft Halliburton. They draft Miles Turner. They've put these pieces around them that fit properly. You have to hit, because they make the playoffs every year, you're picking middle to late of the first round. You have to find guys that can translate. Those aren't superstar, 5-star pedigree guys that you have to develop, and they've done it with guys like Nembhard. They took Obi Toppin from the Knicks, made him into a much better player. I just think this is a really impressive organization inside and out.
What was that donk in Toronto doing, trading Siakam? Dude, Siakam when he was like 4 years younger. I don't remember what they got back, but I remember when Toronto traded Siakam. Remember, he's a young player now. That was like 4 years ago. I was like, what? That was mid-season, I believe.
Yeah, Matt, they would still be competing in the East if they had Siakam. Instead, they got Barrett and Barnes and Jakob Poeltl. The trade was Siakam from the Raptors. I can't believe this is all it was. Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, and 3 first-round picks. But Indiana's a good team. Those first-round picks are irrelevant.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was a contract issue, but Siakam.
I mean,
how old is Siakam? Just tell me that. How old is Siakam?
That is a good question. Pascal.
Probably 28,
Siakam.
29.
Yeah, that feels right. Let's see. Siakam is 31.
Oh, you're older than I thought. Okay.
Older, yeah, I agree. I thought 28 was spot on.
Okay, well then maybe. Still, it was about 3.5 years ago. You gave up a player in his prime.
Yeah, I mean he averages 20 points per game. Is that good?
You'll take it, and he doesn't have to be the primary because Halliburton is obviously the primary. So
yeah.
Now next up, Oklahoma City is hosting Denver. I just went simple with this. I laid 6.5 in the first half with OKC.
Yeah, I went Hartenstein in this one over his PRA, 23.5. That's points, rebounds, and assists combined. I think he has to be on the floor a lot to try and mitigate Jokic, but I have a feeling this is when we start to see the Nuggets run out of gas. If I was betting a side, I would lay the 10 and I'd go under because I don't know how much more Denver has in the tank. I really don't.
You want to see what your boy Mike in the OC has to say about hoops? Hey, Mike.
Doing dishes?
What's up, Mike? Up? Hey, what's going on?
Pots and pans.
How'd you know I was doing dishes?
Because we can hear them.
We can hear you. We can hear dishes. Yeah.
The beautiful time was doing dishes. I go, let me help out. Patrick's still doing. They're still chatting away. So what the heck? How are you guys, man? Hey.
Yeah. Oh.
What? Hey, what's it been? 4 months? Any review yet from Tori on the performance? Any?
The reviews are glowing. Tori loves the show. How about that?
That's all that matters, right? Yeah. As long as Steve is Steve moving, by the way? I heard Doc talk about it, but whatever.
I don't know.
Sorry, not our business, but
you tell me about the real estate goings of Steve Tori. I don't know this answer.
He says he's moving. Who knows? That guy reveals everything. It's too
give me a little dirt.
What's up?
I've fallen out on the
What
channel.
do I know?
What's going on? What's going on with Beetle and Decker? What's going on with Dog? What's going on with Tori? Help me out.
They're all fine, but there's I don't want to give names away. There's a lot of infighting with the callers.
Oh no!
Not infighting, but there's a lot of kind of snapping this. There's different group, different chat things going on. Some people get mad, they leave, they come back, they say this, they say that. I don't know.
Wait, hold on. You mean like different factions of callers?
Yeah. There's
Okay.
like the Shine group. There's a Russo group. I don't know what the heck it is. Sometimes it gets a little bit too much. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? You know.
Well, you Mike, and anybody else that calls the VSiN Live group, we love you.
That's exactly it. Okay, Patrick, real quick, you're talking about Brunson, how great he is, and he is great. What about, you're talking about Curry. Is Brunson the best small guard we've seen since Isaiah Thomas? Not the Isaiah Thomas, Zeke.
That's a good question. You know what? That's actually who I compare him to.
That's who I compare him to
because
also.
they're both so tough. They were both 6'1", 6'1.5", create their own shot, get everybody involved. Yep. It's a great comparison.
Clutch
Iverson?
Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Iverson, that's a good one too. That's a good one.
Iverson was an exciting player, but Iverson he wasn't the inclusive. He wasn't the assist guy.
No.
I mean, but Iverson was legitimately 6'1.5", so he has to be in the small guard conversation.
He was.
Fourth quarter, Brunson over Iverson.
Brunson is a marvel.
Far.
Brunson is a marvel, man. He really is.
Crazy. He's just a tough kid. He's just really good. But what a disaster for the Cavs. That was a terrible series for them. I mean, you have that great record. You go out in the first. I mean, for my Lakers, it's a disaster. But whatever. The things that happened this year to them, up and down, whatever. So what are you gonna do, Patrick?
How's Shohei doing?
Oh God, he's doing great. You know what? MLB. Funny you say that. MLB put up a thing. I guess the Angels playing the Dodgers this weekend. They put up a thing of Shohei going back to Anaheim in a home run. Why are they showing that again? You trying to rub it in? Even though the Angels had a great win last night, Patrick. Did you see what happened in San Diego?
Big win.
They scored six. They had 6 in the night. Taylor Ward is hitting $180. Hit a grand slam. Those Padres fans are probably stunned. They're doing.
How are your Angels doing?
I think we're in last. 5 under, but it's not a great division, right? I think we're like 18-23 or something like that. Patrick, it's been terrible. Come on. The last 11 years.
So you're saying there's hope there's hope for your Halos?
Well, I'll going to say this: Trout at least is not out for the year. He got hurt, but he's running and he feels better.
Has a star ever fallen quicker than Mike Trout's?
It's tough. It's pretty rough. It's rough, and I love the guy, and he is great. We all love him. He's great for the game. Everybody loves the guy, but you talk about his first few years, how great they were. And just the injuries, the weird injuries, Patrick, too. The hammock bone thing in San Diego, some weird, hamstring thing. It's always a weird injury. And the Angels staff is so terrible about taking care of this stuff. We got to get rid of him.
Oh, look at you going at this staff. Good to talk to you, Mike. That is a question. Has a player ever gone from potential conversation for greatest of all time to we don't even speak of him?
How old was Trout when it happened? 30? He's 33. It feels like the decline began 3 years ago. Is it that dissimilar to Ken Griffey Jr.? Is it it feels like it's kind of on the same path?
Yeah, I don't know how to measure that one. I just know that he was, because the analytics nerds got involved and said, no, Trout's better than Willie Mays. Trout's better. And then, people like Dog would push back. But he certainly has, and you hate to see the injuries played impact there, but that certainly has played into it as well.
The games are staggering. 2022, he played 119 games. The prior years before that, I'll go in order from 2020. 53 games, 36 games. Well, 53 was a 60-game season, so we'll go after 2021. 36 games, 119, 82, and 29. He just doesn't stay healthy.
When we come back, I want to, by the way, if you missed it, the Pacers advance, beat the Cavs in Cleveland. When we come back, I want to hear these Belichick cuts because I haven't heard them, but Belichick's talking about his boo. He's talking about North Carolina. You'll hear it. It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. To wrap up today's show. You see what I did there? Yeah. By finishing all of the conversations we touched on today. This is Closing Tabs.
All right, so I can guarantee you the Pacers are a big fan of the Celtics because they want to rest. They beat Cleveland, and they're going to chill. And Eastern Conference Finals, there they are, the Pacers. They beat Cleveland tonight in Cleveland. A 10-2 run to start for Oklahoma City and a timeout called. Let's go ahead and set this up. Our closing tabs will consist of Bill Belichick, which is riveting. What do you got?
Yeah, pretty consistently when our show was called The Wrap, we used to play a lot of Bill Belichick clips to see how he dealt with the media, and now he's on, second chance here, going back to college. He has a girlfriend now in Jordan Hudson. wanted to check in and see how things were going at ACC Media Days, where, maybe Bill's changed. Maybe he cares more about the media. Maybe he cares more about his image, where Jordan Hudson, his girlfriend, now works as his PR person. This was Billy B going on SportsCenter at ACC Media Days, and he was asked about his relationship with one Jordan Woods.
Yeah, I mean, that's, really off to the side. It's a personal relationship, and she doesn't have anything to do with UNC football. I'm excited to be back in the coaches' meetings and getting ready for, June, and then August when we get to training camp. So June will be a big recruiting month for us, and then August we'll start getting ready for the season.
Wow, the lack of personality is insane. You said Jordan Woods, isn't that?
I meant Jordan Hudson. That's Carl Anthony Towns.
I think that is a person.
Sorry,
I think Carl Anthony Towns dates that girl.
Yeah, it's Carl Anthony Towns' fiance or wife. I don't know. Lovely young lady. Sorry for disparaging your name and referring to you as if you were Jordan Hudson. And then the interviewer, Christine Williamson, did a great job with this, because it's not an easy task to sit down with Bill Belichick face to face and he's giving you nothing. She follows that up with saying, "Hey, Bill, have you talked to the team about what goes on with your off-field stuff and the relationship, and how's that go over with the players?"
Yeah, no, I talk to the players, and when we meet with them when they come in to visit and so forth, sure.
And how have those conversations gone?
Yeah, great. Well, again, we want to make the players the best that they can be, provide them the best opportunity on and off the field, and that's what we're about at UNC, and that's what we're going to do the best for every single player we have.
Yeah, super weird how he just refuses not to be ChatGPT.
But you have a public relationship. You've been obnoxiously public with it. If you don't think people are going to ask about it, don't be so public about it. I don't understand why he's getting so weird.
I do know if I'm an 18-year-old kid, I can't wait to go play for him.
I'd be scared that in 6 years he's going to try to steal your girlfriend.
He's just, yeah. Anyway, so life is short. Might as well go hang out with that guy.
Yeah, what a way to spend your
You know what I mean? Like, you have an opportunity to go play for an exciting young coach. You're just like, I'll pick this.
I was going to save this for when we do Smash or Pass, but does Bill Belichick make it to Halloween this year as the coach of the Tar Heels?
I don't even know. Look, it's just going to be a shit show. That's all I know. I would have put money he doesn't make the first game of the year, but we shall see. Congratulations. Listen, love rules. It's important. And I bless everybody with it, including Andy Gresh, who's a great guy. He's coming up next here on Mad Dog Sports Radio. We'll see you tomorrow. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Have a good night.
Covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio.